What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people, and I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now, and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? It is Thursday, July 17th, 2025, year of our Lord. And I feel good. Well, yeah, I feel good. I feel different. How do y'all feel today? How do you guys feel today? How was the chat? How was the chasers? Good morning, good morning, good morning. What up to everybody that's inside of the chat that is acknowledging each other and the chasers? That's one of the things that I love about you guys. I see Classy Beats in there, Jerry, everybody. That's one of the things that I love about everybody is because people be showing love to each other before I even jump into the live stream. What's going on? Shout out to my guy Mike, that dude. I appreciate you. I see you. Multiple contributor says happy B-Day to our moms today. Yeah, I want to say a happy birthday to my mother. She is 70 years old, looks younger than 50. Incredible. Working out, running every day. Probably has never been any more than 135 pounds in her life. Incredible woman. I had to make sure I called her and I said happy birthday and I sent her a care package, you know what I'm saying? Sent her that care package, that moolah. She out of town, she on vacation. Sending her out there to live her life. That's it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. For all of you people that feel the need to divest yourself against your parents, don't do it. Don't do it. Even if y'all don't agree, because when y'all don't agree, it doesn't necessarily A, mean that you're right, and B, you only get one set of parents. So if your parents have not done egregious things to you or something like that, then if y'all, if they gave you, a halfway decent childhood and did the best that they could, regardless of how it is that you turned out, because you got to make your own decisions when you get to a certain age, show love to your parents. Show love to your parents. Happy birthday, my Dukes. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for helping bringing me into this world and playing a pivotal role in who I am today. I know I give a lot of shout out and love to my father, but I love you. I love you and your little liberal views and all of that stuff that you say. I love your little liberal view self. Even if y'all got different political ideologies, you ain't got to talk about that during Thanksgiving. Even if, she felt, just honor your parents. Honor your parents. That's all I will tell you. Honor your parents. Honor your parents. They didn't necessarily get it perfect. Your parents may not have got it perfect, but honor your parents. It's always a blessing. You are more blessed as you honor your parents. You are. You are more blessed when you honor your parents. I'm a huge advocate for honoring your parents. Because my father did such a phenomenal job as a father. Such a great job as a father. And I've learned even more about him over probably the last 6 months. Um, I was thinking about him the other day when I was in Los Angeles, and I kind of broke down a little bit. And I was thinking, like, man, what a great guy. Like, what a good father. So blessed. So blessed. Um, and then the valet guy, as I was getting my car today, he said, "Man, how are you doing?" Because I always ask him, "How's it going, y'all?" Whatever, so on and so forth. And they always see me jolly and happy and stuff like that. And I know that they be watching the show. And one of the valet guys asked me, he said, "Man, how do you feel, Mr. Daniels?" They call me Mr. Daniels. So weird. You know what I'm saying? All of these older names, Unc, OG, Mr. Daniels. But I embrace it because it's a sign of respect. And so when you see somebody say sir and you call somebody sir back and you call her ma'am, it's a sign of respect. It's a sign of dignity. And we need to get back to actually addressing each other as such. But that's an entirely different conversation. And he said, "How do you feel? How you feeling, Mr. Daniels?" And usually, you just give them whatever you're saying is. And so I said, "Oh yeah, I'm cool." He said, "No, no, no, no. How do you really feel?" And he stopped me. He said, "How do you feel about life?" And I knew what he was referencing. He was referencing a lifestyle and the cars and all of the visibility. And I thought about it for a second and I said, "You know what I feel like?" I said, "I feel retired." I said, "I feel retired." And I didn't elaborate, but I'm thinking about it now. And what that means, when I first retired, the first time that I retired from corporate America, I was 37 years old. And I had made a decent amount of money in my life. And that then kind of informed me, because when you coming up and you're in 20s, maybe in your 30s, oh man, I want to get to the point where I can do what I want to do and quit my job and retire and stuff. And so you give yourself a number, and that number was more than healthy and sufficient. And I never anticipated going back into corporate America. So I was like, yo, I'm going to just give my all into what it is that I do from a business perspective. I'm going to go 100% from this content creation thing. But part of that came because I was just going to be like a casual creator, get on and off, say what I really think and stuff like that. But part of that inspiration came from the fact that I was still not content. I was still bored. It was so much left that I believe that was left for me to do. And so I was just anxious and you know what I'm saying? So you start getting into things, you started discovering yourself. I didn't really discover what I wanted until I was probably like 37, 38 years old. I'm 43 now, so that was about 5 years ago. Pandemic kicked everything out of whack, so I didn't know because all of the things that you planned on doing, going to the Pistons game, sitting courtside every game, cheering, becoming the Spike Lee of your city, all that got put on hold. They started doing Black Lives Matters across the courts and across the players' jerseys. So everything was just in flux. I just think that everything was in flux. Then I got a call, and then it was like, "Yo, come back into corporate America. We gonna offer you a crazy bag." Thought that I was gonna be there for a year. Wind up being longer than that, and then I retired again after last year, at the end of last year. And My life has changed significantly within those 6 months. Probably nothing noticeable to you guys because, I still am doing what I'm doing on a regular basis online. But my life changed in that I look at who I am today and my habits versus what I did at the end of last year, and it's completely different. Yesterday after the show, went to the gym, went and kicked it, was talking to different guys inside of the gym and inside of the type of gym that I go to. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. And it was cool. And I wake up in the morning and I don't have any alarm clock set no more. I woke up this morning, no alarm clock. When I got up, the first thing that I did was brush my teeth, prayed, and then I went straight down to the gym that's in my building. Got a workout in, sweat, you know what I'm saying? Took my time, opened up my computer, seen what the news was, started to mosey wosey my way into jumping in the shower and call your car for valet, came into the studio. I feel because I don't think that I'm ever going to stop working. Let's be clear. I don't believe that I'll ever stop working. I finally accepted the fact that I'll probably never take another job in corporate America again. I'll never be structured as a regular individual. I'll never probably, I mean, anything is possible. I'm never going to say never. So I'll take a bag depending on what the context of the bag is. But I finally kind of settled into Mr. Daniels. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that means. So I do. I feel good. I feel good. Frugal Five Diamond Club, baby. The Diamond Club, though. You know what I'm saying? So I do. I feel good. I woke up this morning. I got an email, and it was like, "Hey, tickets is on sale for Crawford and Canelo." Maybe I'll go to Vegas in September and go to the Crawford fight or whenever the Crawford fight is. Then I pulled it up, and I was 100,000th in line on Ticketmaster. I said, "Oh no." I'm not doing that. I'm gonna just wait till the resale market hit, and then we'll go from there. Matter of fact, let me pull this up. Let me see what these tickets going for, and then we can go ahead and get into the show. I said, you know what? I'm gonna just wait for the resale markets. I don't. I'm gonna just wind up paying resale prices, and we'll just figure it out from there. Let me see. Ticketmaster. Now that's y'all can see what my search is, right? Some of the reasons I wasn't saying 50 in Vegas. What we doing? Canelo Crawford. Find tickets. I know this ticket's gonna be out of control. Hey, I gotta get the pre-sale code. Let me get the pre-sale code. Give it to me now. CPC. How much they want? 7,000. 7,000 for the floor there. What's this one? 5,000 for the floor. What's this one? 758. Let me call my accountant real quick. Actually, when is the fight? When is the Canelo Crawford fight? September 13th. September 13th. Said they'll have to call me back. Anyways, but yeah, it's I don't know. What was that Vegas Allegiant Stadium? I don't never think I've ever been at Allegiant Stadium. 7K, 10K. What are these going for? 9 official platinum, 10, 5. All right. Well, yeah. So, anyways, yeah. Somebody said, "Is anybody going to the Clarissa Shields fight?" I was thinking about going to the. I was thinking about going to the Clarissa Shields fight, but I'm not gonna be in town, so I ain't gonna be able to do that either. Anyways, we'll see. I gotta go on my schedule. Waiting on them to call me back. I want to see what the pre-sale ticket is for the like. I don't know if you can get front row. I don't want to just be on the floor. I want to be all the way in the front row. So yeah. Allegiant Stadium is the best stadium. Y'all think that Allegiant Stadium is the best? Yeah, I keep driving by it all the time. I seen it, but I don't know what it really is about. Shout out to Mike, that dude. I appreciate you. Let me read a couple of super chats and then we'll go ahead and get started with the show, y'all. Jay Ben says, big shout out to Mama Daniels on her awesome eclipse of another year. Thanks for giving us AD, who gives us all those dope shows across the internet, a super dope community, and a solid network. Appreciate you, Mom. Blessings to you. Shout out to my dog, Jay Ben. I love Jay Ben, man. Kisme Grits says, since November of last year, I've been putting away $10 a day in my stock, and I haven't looked at it until yesterday. $10 a day? That's pretty good. That's $300 a month, roughly. And found out I have 5 racks in my account. Does it get any easier? 5 racks. I like that. But you actually multiply. So essentially, if you followed it the entire time, you put about $306 or $3,060, I believe, into your account. Something like that, like 3,000, and then it multiplied over to 5. So yeah, that's good. That's phenomenal. Shout out to the bag chasers. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon link is in the description. Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the show. I hope everybody is doing well. You went to a couple Raiders games and it's popping. beat up Kool-Aid. Beat up Kool-Aid says, I Googled your net worth. It says you're only worth 50K. Stop playing. You can't afford them tickets. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Shout out to Google. Shout out to the Googlers. Let me see something else before I go. Go to pistons.com. I gotta sign in Pistons account. I'm really a basketball guy, but I love boxing too. Me and my homeboy love boxing. I'm going to boxing matches. Anton Daniels. Let's see what's happening in these streets. My tickets, invoices, Caesar member guide. All right. We there. We there. I still owe money on my Pistons season tickets. You know what I'm saying? I still owe money. Time Dog still owe money on my Pistons. I owe 52,000. No, I'm sorry. I owe how much do I owe? I owe $52,500 for my tickets. That's how much I owe for my Pistons tickets. I owe $52,000 and $500 on my Pistons tickets. Y'all gotta understand that some people just be trolling. Like some people just say that type of stuff. Yep, I do. I owe $52,000 on my Pistons tickets. All right, y'all. Let's get ready to go ahead and get started with the show. And let's see what's happening out in these streets. I need a coaster. I need to put a coaster. Let me see what I owe. I owe a lot of money on my tickets. This is the life. That's how much I owe. I paid $13,000 a month for my Pistons tickets, and I owe. My balance was $105,000, and I've paid 52,000. I paid $52,000 and 500 so far. I owe another 52,500, and they're taking a payment out of my account, or they're saying that I got a payment due on 8/1/2025. Well, they're not on. You can't put tickets on layaway. They're all right. For most people that don't understand exactly how season tickets work, all right, this is how season tickets work. Season tickets work by if you got a corporate account, it's two different accounts, right? You usually have a corporate account or you have a regular person account. For most people that are sitting in the stands and stuff like that, that just get regular seats and stuff, they have a regular person account. And for other people, it says that you have a corporate account. So your corporate account is on your business. So what's the difference? The difference, you should understand it from a tax perspective, but we're not gonna go there. But essentially, it's your company, it's your business. Your business owes the tickets, so they can give them to clients. They can take people out in order to court other business leaders. And so your business itself can buy tickets to certain games. And for, I would say, maybe 99% of everybody, including the corporate buyers and all of that stuff, what they do is they break it down into 8, right? So every time that you renew, the requirement is basically when they put the season tickets on for people to purchase them, then they do it in the 8s, right? So the 8s then constitute everything basically needs to be paid off before the season starts. So let's just say, for example, if the season start September, October is when you start getting the season, the early season games, the preseason games, then you want to basically have everything settled by then. But let me tell you why it's important and why most corporate partners don't pay it in full right away. Is because, let's say, for example, my tickets are $100,000, $105,000, right? Well, why would I give them $105,000 when I can give them 13 and then I can have the other 9,200 or $92,000 inside of a stock account? So the idea of money, all right, and this is a bigger lesson for people. The idea of money is that you want to have, if you're not paying any interest, right? And that's the whole idea. You're not paying any interest. Whenever you don't pay any interest, that means that the value of money goes higher, which is one of the reasons why the Trump administration wants the Fed to lower interest rates. If you're not paying any interest, then you still want your money active, meaning that you would want $100,000 to be working for you at all times. As a matter of fact, I've had money inside of stocks this year that have more than doubled, and I've showed people inside of the Patreon. And that money that I would have gave to them, that I would have gave to the Pistons, it more than doubled in the market. And so essentially I got to keep the principal, and the entirety of what I then put inside of that stock, the payoff goes into paying for the tickets. And you can use it as a tax write-off because why? It's under your corporate account and you use that in order to court business, do vlogs, do games. So essentially your principle of what you've invested inside of the stock market, which is one of the reasons why I keep telling y'all, your membership pays for itself. Your little $9 that you paid for the month, that pays for itself in the level of information that you get. So what rich people do is they don't lay away. They get accounts or they do events where it takes them no interest to do. They put the majority of the money that they would usually have to pay for that thing into the market or into the businesses that they in. That business or whatever it is that they invested eventually spins off a return that then generates enough revenue for them to not only write off the price of the tickets, but also pay for the event itself. And so you still get to drum up business. You still get to do whatever it is that you want to do. And so a lot of people are missing that. A lot of people are missing the play. Whenever you are no interest, which is one of the reasons why we say that that is cheap money, that means that you can then leverage the dollars because it's not costing you anything for the money, right? You can leverage the money because you still got the principal. You still need to have the capital. You can leverage that money and put it into play. It then doubles and triples and generates a lot of revenue. Remember when I was telling y'all to jump in when Trump was saying, well, I'm about to put tariffs, y'all said, oh my God, the sky is falling, the market is down. Well, we ran up a bag. We ran up a crazy bag as a result of that. That pays for whatever it is that we're doing in a leisure perspective. So that's why they say the first million is the hardest to make. The first million is the hardest to make. It's only the idiots. It's the rappers, it's the entertainers, it's the hood people, it's the TikTok financial planners that'll tell you, man, you should pay for everything in cash. No, you shouldn't. You should make sure that you leverage the majority of your assets depending on what your interest rates are, and try to leverage your assets in order to get a zero interest rate so that you can continue to put your money and have it working for you. Stop listening to people that's just online that ain't never built the business, that ain't never had or sat courtside, that don't understand what it takes in order to buy an exotic car or a hypercar or a supercar, a person that has never actually understood what it means in order to use your corporate sponsorships or your corporate partnerships or to leverage things like don't listen to those people. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll give y'all another gem. I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't even give y'all this game. I'm gonna save this. I'll give you a little bit of a preview of what I'm gonna talk about in my next live stream, because I'm gonna do a content creator one too before I do Block Club. When you get to a certain level financially, you want to start thinking whether or not you want to take cash from corporate sponsors. So, for example, let's say I play this ad, Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off of life. Well, if Tiege Hanley pays me, right? Let's say Tiege Hanley says, well, we want to give you X amount of dollars every month in order to continue to be a Tiege Hanley man, right? And this is another reason why I keep telling y'all while I'm waiting to get to a certain number on my subscribers before I start taking on more sponsors and doing more deals. Because what's more beneficial, right? Anton, what do you mean what's more beneficial? Well, if I take the money from Tiege, right, then that means that I got to add that as a part of my 1099s, which I have to then pay taxes on that because that's another form of income. And so I combine that with all of the other business that come into what it is that I'm doing. Well, it's a little bit different if you start looking at it. And if you look at the video, if you looked at the video inside of the Patreon where I talked about, what did I talk about? I talked about budgeting like a corporation, budgeting like a business, how you take your own personal finances and budget like a business, right? So I'm telling y'all, and I told y'all that. And if you're not a part of the Patreon, if you did not look at that video, you need to go look at it. Well, if I'm able to project exactly what I'm trying to generate in order to lower the amount of tax burden that I'm gonna have, but then I got this sponsor over here and I got a number. I got the sponsor over here and then I got a number. Well, then that means, forget all of that. That means that I have to either spend more money in order to keep myself in a certain tax bracket, which means that I got to make more investments, or I can leverage my corporate sponsor and negotiate my deal differently to where it's lifestyle. What does that mean, Anton? Okay, it's the events. I don't want to get paid in this. I want to get paid this way because I don't want to actually get paid based off of money that you send it to me because I got to pay taxes on that. I want the certain benefits. I want to be able to go on jets here, or I want you to be a corporate sponsor in this space, or I want you to make sure that you send me tickets to these type of events so that I can drum up more business. The way that you would normally spend the cash is the way that you start to negotiate your deal. Or I want equity into the company. That way I can have that as an asset. I'm over here cooking and then my screen is messed up. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and leave that off because I'm going to talk about exactly how I'm structuring my future deals inside of the Patreon. Let me fix this camera really quickly and then we'll come back. See if I can fix this camera. Hey, chat. Somebody time out Damien. When I'm actually cooking and giving insight, I don't want nobody we don't do trolling at that point. We only troll on the stories. Somebody time out Damien. We can't have the retards messing up the class today. All right, let's go ahead and get cooking, y'all. That was too much information for y'all anyway. Too much information for y'all anyway. I don't want to talk about that. I'm going to deep dive into that in the Patreon. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the show. I got a full show that's lined up for y'all today. First things first on the docket is Louisiana police chiefs. I heard that it's a big story out of Louisiana where the police chiefs is basically leveraging visas in order to get rich down there. Again, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock.
Well, today in Louisiana, 4 former and current local law enforcement officers, including police chiefs, were federally charged in what prosecutors are describing as a decades-long immigration visa scheme. Investigators allege that these very officers committed conspiracy, immigration fraud, bribery, mail fraud, and money laundering, according to the 62-count indictment that was unsealed this morning. The FBI and Homeland Security carried out the arrests and search warrants across the state yesterday. NBC News correspondent Priscilla Thompson joins us with the details. Priscilla, when you're dealing with people who are seeking immigration, you're generally dealing with a pretty vulnerable population, people who are less likely to speak out when they feel something is wrong or may not feel like they have the resources to get help. So how did this even get on prosecutors' radar in the first place?
Yeah, so we know that prosecutors at some point started to notice an outsized number of armed robberies that were being reported. And what they found is this conspiracy that centers on these U visas. So these are visas, non-immigrant visas for people who witness or are victims of a violent crime and who are helping law enforcement. And so the person at the center of this all is allegedly a Subway owner and operator, Chandra Patel, who allegedly would collect payments from...
What is a Patel? Come on, y'all. Let's profile for a little bit. Let's use our FBI profiling skills. What is a Patel? Come on. Whose last names is Patel? Because if I ask y'all who the last name is, or who the first name is Glocktavius, y'all gonna know exactly who I'm talking about. What's a Patel? Y'all know what it is. All right. Let's not act oblivious here. Let's not act like we don't know what's going on. We know who last name is Patel. That, yeah. Okay. All right. So now y'all in there. So now that we've used our effective profiling skills, now that we've effectively used our profiling skills. So this started with what? The same way that everything starts, with a disgruntled customer, a person that was a business owner, probably getting over squeezed, don't want to pay the fees no more, don't want to continue to be held over a barrel, don't feel like they getting all of what they supposed to get out of the whole situation. And what does that translate into? It translates into it unraveling things. So I'm pretty sure that there's somebody out there, one of the partners of these police chiefs was like, man, what you doing, man? You won't mess it up for the rest of us. Man, what you got going on? You gonna mess it up for the rest of us. You know that's what they said. Why did they say that? Why did they say you gonna mess it up for the rest of us? Because somebody got too big for their britches. Somebody forgot why they was there. Why were you there? Y'all were there. Initially, you got hired to protect and serve and do the right thing, and you came in as the right person. And then little Susan needed some braces. Susan needed some braces. And then you invited your homeboy and you told him about it, and it just became a racket. It became something. Your heart was in the right place. You wanted to get your daughter some braces. You realize that, man, I ain't hurting nobody. These people probably coming over here anyway. And so this is what we gonna do, y'all. Look, man, we just gonna get a couple off the top. We gonna get it off, and then the people gonna be able to do what they want to do. So now somebody got too big for their britches. They started squeezing Patel too much, Susan Patel, and Miss Patel probably alerted the authorities. When the authorities, because usually crimes are right there in front of your face, but you don't know where to look for it, or it's just not something that's on your radar, so it's not going to run any red flags. Police chiefs taking care of business. Oh, wait. Then they start doing some investigation. Wait a minute, it's a whole bunch of robberies. Are these robberies real? We don't know. Why? Because they were using it as immigrants that are victims of crimes get a special U visa. The U visa is a scam. And that's why you see people, because let me tell you something, so many different people in so many different ways have been benefiting off of and getting money off of these immigrants and the immigrant crisis. That's what really happens. So many people benefited. When I see people a lot of times in a culture so far left or so far right, or whenever they have an issue, they are staunchly against Republicans, big bill, or you see like, because there's some stuff that I would like to think is common sense. Hey, we don't want people from other countries that's illegally here just walking over into the United States of America undocumented. Hey, that messes up everything, guys. It's a trickle up and trickle down effect of how it affects everybody. To only look at it in a silo, this isn't about whether or not we actually hate immigrants. We like immigrants. We like legal migrants into the United States of America. We're a melting pot. Any city you go to is a melting pot. Nobody is against that. But when something is so obvious, you then realize, you know what? It's a lot of people figuring out how to finesse the system. That's what happened with the housing crisis. That's what happens with the housing crisis. One person started getting money. I'll give you an example of the layers of fraud. Because, see, people would say, well, it was the bankers, The big banks got greedy. They knew they were too big to fail. But the big banks wasn't the only people that was getting paid. The credit agencies, the ones that were supposed to be monitoring the big banks, they was getting a cut. And the real estate professionals, they knew people didn't qualify for these mortgages, but they pushed them through because they was giving them ninja loans, no income, no job, approved. The people got greedy because they said, hey, listen, I can own multiple different homes. The flippers got greedy because they knew that they can inflate the prices because anybody was going to pay whatever the number is just because it was so much fraud, waste, and abuse. And at the mortgage companies, they was in on it because they was able to sell these tranches of mortgages that was mixed in with BS and good. And so everybody was benefiting. Everybody got a bag. The people that paid for it was the ones that wasn't even in it or participatory in it. And then they wanted to say, oh man, it's just the big bank's fault. Nope. It's layers. It's layers. Layers of people was finessing, getting paid. And then when you see people that are so adamant about a particular candidate or adamant about keeping a certain industry afloat, it's because they have a financial incentive to do so. They had a financial incentive to do so. And so when I look at this migrant crisis that happened over the last 4 years, or matter of fact, the migrant crisis that nobody wanted Trump to stop since way before he got into office, have you ever thought about it? Like, have you looked at the politicians like the Nancy Pelosi's and they get up there in the early 90s when they first get into office, or when they really start getting their feet, they get some power inside of Congress or whatever, and they're standing there bushy-eyed and blue-eyed, and they say, yeah, guys, we need to get tough on crime, and we don't have a border unless we got a country. And we've seen the videos of Obama and Biden and all of these people, right? And we see the Republicans do the same thing. They do this. They corrupt. A lot of them is corrupt the same way. And you see these people, and you be like, man, they're really for America. They saying the same thing that Trump is saying today, for example. And then they get into office for a while, and you see the demons start standing on their shoulders. Corporate money start getting to them. It's just, they human. They have fallen victim to the bag like everybody else. And the thing that they never did was focus on character. When I keep telling y'all every day, when you pray, when you ask God for whatever it is that you're going to ask him for, stop only asking him for money. Ask him for character, because the character is going to keep you in the places that your talent and your networking skills is going to take you. Very few people ask for wisdom, understanding, character, because guess what? You're going to get some money, and then that little small crack that the devil opened up the door for that you thought was cool, it's going to grow into a mountain. It's going to grow into a huge deal, and you're not going to know where you got lost at. You came in for the money. Next thing you know, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years later, when you done got all of the money and you forgot who the fuck you was, now you laying over there with 5 hoes. 2 of them got their heads in your crotch. 1 of them is right here. And you like, damn, who am I? What the hell just happened to me? You went from wanting to get into the industry so bad, trying to run because I'm the best candidate for the job. I'm going to clean up the streets. I'm going to clean up the city. I'm going to work hard and get tough on crime. Next thing you know, all of the drug dealers is your friends. They getting free tickets to all of the major events. They making moves and shaking hands and kissing babies. 7 years later, you completely compromise, and then you hanging out with Diddy, and you got baby oil all over you and men's nut all over your chick. You just wanted to get in, get rich so that you could. I hear it every single day. I hear it every single day. Everybody say what they would do, but very few people actually do it when they get to it. Man, all I need is this amount of money. Shoot, I would donate to charity, save a church, go and get an African baby, and we would just go and create a farm. No, nigga, you gonna get a Rolls, you gonna get a lamb, you gonna be stunting on these hoes, you gonna go back to your old high school and tell your old teacher to fuck you, bitch. You gonna do all of the things that you said that you wouldn't do because you gotta get it out your system. And very few people actually come back from it. And this is, I'm telling you, this is what happened to the people, to the police chiefs, to the drug dealer, to everybody. It's the same story. Very few people are able to crawl back from that darkness they had to get into when they first got it. Oh man. It's hard to come back from it when you, and that's why I was, got to get it early, get it out your system. Very few NBA players actually do the right thing on their first NBA contract. They got to wait for that second and third contract. You know what? I'm going to preserve this money. I'm going to invest it. To everybody on the outside looking in, it look easy, right? Man, I can't believe he fumbled all of that money. Nigga, what you thought that he didn't, you thought that he wanted to? That wasn't his intention. He got caught up in the life. Some Instagram baddie DM'd him and said, hey, daddy. He ain't never been DM'd by an Instagram baddie no more. He only 21, 22 years old. He don't know what the fuck to do. So the nigga said, all right, cool. Bought her 1 Chanel bag, bought her 2 Chanel bags. He don't know. He don't know. He don't know. Pray for character. You're going to get in these positions. You're going to become a police chief. You're going to become a corporate, whatever, VP of buyers, and it's gonna be that little crack, and it'll take you over, it'll take you down. Because very few people can have this conversation with you because they've never seen it, you know? When all of the lights and the camera is on you, when you popping your shit, you get that M, first thing you gonna go do, you know what? That. You know, I was always thinking about a Spectre. Always thought about a Rolls Royce Spectre. It ain't gonna change me though. Yes, it is, nigga. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You're not gonna get $5 million and then continue to drive your Toyota. See, rich people, they don't have to drive that. You ain't driving no Toyota Corolla. You're not going in with a Mazda Miata. You're not gonna keep the same car that you got now because you gonna stay focused. You're gonna do the same thing that all of the rest of us did. I'm going to go do this. Now, thankfully, I was able to get it out of my system early. And so now I went broke in 2008, but I learned the lesson. I was blessed to be able to have the knowledge and the skill set and the marketing expertise to be able to get it all back and make the right decisions going forward. But everybody do the same thing, nigga. You going to get the private jet. I'm a jet me. I'm jetting out there. You don't know nothing about none of that. You don't even write it off. You don't even know what you're doing. You just moving. You're moving and shaking, nigga. Everybody gonna stay the same. I ain't never gonna stay the same. I ain't leaving the hood, nigga. That's the first thing you do. First thing you do. You gotta get it out your system. Gotta get it. And there's nothing wrong with nice things, but you don't want that to control you. You don't want it to take it over. You don't want to get to a point to where you can't come back from it. You know what I'm saying? Now you're doing coke with the Colombians. It just hit Colombia. Shout out to Young Scooter. You know what I'm saying? You gotta stay focused. See, David Brown saying the same thing that every other nigga I know that never said. Man, listen, bro, just give me a Tahoe, I'm good. Yeah. Okay. Right. Just the Tahoe? That's all you want? Just a Tahoe, huh, nigga? Okay. All right. I've seen it. I hear the same thing every single day. Every day. I've seen it. I've watched it. I've seen the rise, the fall, the rises, the falls, the rise, the re-rises, and the re-falls. I've seen it all. I've seen everything, bro.
From these foreign nationals and then pay these police chiefs, former police chiefs and officers to draft up documentation to show that those nationals were victims of crime. So fake police reports, things like that. And these were police officers from across the state. You had Chad Doyle with the Oakdale police chief, Michael Frex Laney, the Oakdale City Marshal, Glenn Dixon, the Forest Hill police chief, and also Tebow Onisha, the former police chief of Glenmora. So all of these officers in this indictment. And I want to play a little bit of what prosecutors had to say about this indictment, and specifically that this is not about the overall police offices, but these officers specifically. Take a listen.
We brought these allegations against who we allege to be corrupt officials, and we are not alleging that these are corrupt police departments.
All the arrests were effected without incident. All the searches effected without incident. This operation went off as cleanly and as peacefully as it possibly could have gone.
Whether you carry a badge or a business license, those who engage in criminal activities will be held accountable.
And prosecutors say that hundreds of visas were approved via this route, and that those officers and deputies were paid $5,000 per piece of documentation that they supplied. And now they are facing potentially decades in prison and up to a $250,000 fine if convicted.
So they got taken down by the same greed and corruption that everybody else say that they're going to deny themselves. You're not. You're not. And it's okay to learn. It's okay to go through it. It's okay to evolve from it. Just don't go broke, and learn how to crawl your way back, and don't turn into a dude that tell your chick to hire other dudes for freak offs to fly in and bust in your chick, and next thing you know, you laying in baby oil and you getting indicted by the feds. Just don't become that. You can come back from most things if you have enough time. Just don't go broke, and don't end up with your chick getting taken by the trainer while at the same time you talking about it was only baby oil. Just that. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. I'm just trying to warn you. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. They call me Mr. Bibb. Says new word of the day. I told my boy, hand out hoes. Always have their hand out. Hoes. H-E-A-U-X. Hoes. Hoes. We used to call them hoes, H-O-Es. Those were the chicks that was for the streets. Now we revised it for the internet era to H-E-A-U-X-S. Hoes. and the building says I'm a bag chaser, and getting you the seats you want to that fight is what I can make happen. Really? Send me an email, AntonDaniels413@gmail.com. ChatGBT says that my net worth is, ChatGBT said this? Said my net worth is $5 to $7 million, not including real estate or my stocks. How much do y'all think I'm worth? Like, what do y'all think my net worth is? That should be an interesting question. Foreign says, what are your thoughts on Grok's waifu? How much you think these companion services is going to affect the dating market in 5 years? It's going to be everywhere. It's not going to just affect the dating market. Anything AI related is going to be booming. It's going to be booming. Me University 8681 says 1 week of 80 bills would knock me silly. How much y'all think my bills are? 15M, 50,000, 5,000, never know, 15, 20. I got you between 15 and 20. Pocket watch, I'm about 20. This is your business. 5M's, 300K, 300K. 50, 10 to 12. Google always says 50,000. I don't know why, but I believe him, yo. 20, 2 to 5. Anton made 5 M's before June. 16.5, 15, 40, 27.4, 20. AD is liquid. Y'all way off. Anton, me and my husband got married yesterday. It was awesome. Anton, me and my husband got married yesterday. It was awesome. Are you the BD that be trolling all the time, that be talking shit though? I gotta wonder though. I'm gonna be quiet today. That your month, we can see by your lifestyle, you worth about 25, 10 to 15, 5, 19.5. You talk like you worth at least 50 M's. How do you talk like you worth at least 50 M's? Molly says Anton is broke. Don't come looking for his money. That is the best answer that I can think of. Let me give Molly a round of applause. I'm gonna have to give her a bonus. I'm gonna have to give her a bonus this month. That is the best answer. 200,000. You showed the receipts a couple months ago. No, I showed you what I spend in a month. I spend somewhere between 2 and 250 a month. That's not what I don't know what you're saying. Molly has the best answer. I ain't got nothing, bro. I ain't got nothing. I'm out. I ain't got it. I don't have it. That is the answer to y'all question right there. All right. That is the answer to your question. I don't have it. I ain't got nothing for you, bro. She just told y'all. She told y'all what I got. I ain't got it. Not it. What do you got? Not it. Let's see what else we got. Carrington Love Jr. says, let's get this show started with comedy. Americans have unlimited cash flow via birthright citizens. Rich or poor is determined based off of how you allocate your money. You get that cash flow. That's a fair point. I agree with that. Anthony says, I tried to send you an email and went to your website. If you would please reach out, allow me to help you get them tickets to the fight. I got to check my schedule and see what's happening. And I got to get my accountant to call me back. Patel equals Durka and trucker language. What up, Pop? Appreciate you. Big Zelino says, Patel is an East Indian name, bro. I work with him. Call me Mr. Bibb says, Flipper, take picture of finish outside of the house lender. I have a finished pictures in my folder and some other house. Harrison, 100,000. Thank you. Mr. Bibbs, you got to put together some periods and some sentences, bro. Vidya is my girlfriend. Had to take some profits. Talk to him, Eric Harris. Me University says, Trump knows y'all have a price. That's why he laughs. Who has a price? I ain't never took no money from no political person, from no super PAC, from no organization, from no news organization. I don't even know what you're talking about, big dog. So miss me with that shit. Manuel AG says they go to Africa, adopt a baby boy, and before the plane lands in the U.S., it's miraculously a girl. Google says 5 to 7 million. Y'all gotta stop with the Google stuff, bro. Gotta stop. It's no way. Let me just give y'all some insight, and then we can go to the next story. There is no way in the world that Google can truly know anybody's net worth. Not Tyler Perry, not Trump, not even Elon Musk. Not even Elon Musk. Not you, not me, not your favorite rapper, entertainer, Will Smith, nobody. There's no way in hell, no way in the world, not your favorite basketball player, is no way. It is virtually impossible for Google to be able to tell you the accurate net worth of any individual on the face of this earth. Whether you think it's high, whether you think it's low, it is impossible. It is literally impossible for Google to tell somebody's net worth. It's just the truth. Timber says athletes' contracts. An athlete's contract does not tell you what their net worth is. An athlete gets money, they pay taxes, they have expenses, they have investments, They get other offers. They do things that's off the table. They get contracts with sponsorships. They lose money. They spend money. They trick money. They buy cars. Nobody can tell you. You don't know what they invested in, what they didn't invest in. You don't know if they got crypto. You don't know nothing. You don't know nothing. Just because somebody can get a contract or they can get paid does not mean that that is an accurate value or reflection of their net worth. And most people don't even take taxes into consideration. They don't take what state that they live in, real estate, watches, cars, assets, stocks, retirement, 401ks. You don't know. You have no clue. You don't know. You have no clue. So that's what I'm saying. Nobody knows anybody's net worth. Everybody is just guessing based off of what they think. Everybody is wrong about everybody. So, anyways, let's move on to the next part of the show. Let's tackle Trump. All right. So I'm not going to tackle Trump from a political perspective because we've talked about all of the Epstein lists and everything like that. But Trump has recently signed legislation cracking down on drugs and fentanyl. But before we get to the drugs and the fentanyl, we actually have to address, why does this do this every day? Oh, it's because I was doing a review differently. Before we get to the drugs and the fentanyl, we have to address what's going on in Baltimore. Now, I anticipated following up on what was happening in Baltimore because we know that they did at least that they know of, 27 overdoses. This is currently what's happening in Baltimore, y'all.
We're following tonight, a mass overdose in the Penn North community sent at least 27 people to the hospital last week. And while authorities continue to investigate, we are now hearing from one of the victims for the first time.
And at the same time, drug recovery organizations are working to make sure the community is aware that help is available.
And Anton Daniels has been covering this story from the beginning, joining us now in studio with more about one of these victims. Stefan.
Hey there, good evening to you guys. Over the weekend, our media partner, the Baltimore Banner, spoke with a woman in her 60s who recalls her Thursday morning buying heroin and then being given a sample or tester of that bad batch of drugs. It was 5 hours later, this woman was found barely clinging to life on a nearby playground.
It's a double-edged sword because, that same exact day we had harm reduction there. And they were actually passing out tester, kits and clean syringes and for drug abusers.
Harm reduction was already too late last Thursday morning for 27 people who were hospitalized after receiving a bad.
How do y'all feel about the idea that there's these organizations that pass out clean needles and, testers and all of that type of stuff? It's a conversation that's ongoing for years, but a lot of people will make the argument and say, they enabling the behavior and all of this stuff. And then the people on the other side of the argument that pass out the needles say, well, we're doing preventative in order to prevent people from getting diseases from using old needles and all of that stuff. So it's a double-edged sword about that.
Batch of drugs. Sapna Benzel, with our media partner, the Baltimore Banner, talked anonymously with the woman in her 60s who was released from the hospital Saturday. Benzel wrote in part, around 9 a.m. Thursday, she was looking to buy heroin on North Avenue when she ran into dealers whose drugs she previously enjoyed. She purchased a pill from them for $3 and also received a free sample known as a tester. She said,
"That's how much pills going for nowadays?" Whew. They selling y'all individual pills like Lucy's at the gas station. They selling y'all individual pills like Lucy's. They selling pills for $3. Is that what you can get a pill for nowadays? It's crazy out here in these streets, bro.
She broke off a piece of one pill smaller than the head of a match, snorted it through a straw, and slipped the rest into her pocket as she approached the busy intersection at North and Pennsylvania Avenues. It was within minutes the woman began to feel dizzy and noticed herself high-stepping, as if losing connection with the ground beneath her feet. She worried she might pass out in the street and get hit by a car. She got herself safely to a playground around the corner and collapsed.
Y'all know what high-stepping is, right? Y'all know what high stepping is, right? Everybody know what high stepping is? Y'all ever seen them people that feel it look like, you know, that they trying to catch their feet, but they not really catching their feet? Y'all know what high stepping is. It's when a person um they walk like this. And you be like, what's wrong with that's a high stepper. It look like they don't know where the ground is at. It look like they don't know where the where the ground is at. Y'all ain't never seen nobody trying to find the ground that's beneath them. That's high stepping. Cause they trying to catch their balance and they trying to find the ground, but it's right up under them, but they don't know where it's at. That's high stepping. That's high stepping. That's what it is.
This photo from the banner shows the hospital residue on her arm from IVs and tape. The woman was found 5 hours after she took the drugs, unconscious on that playground before being transported to Johns Hopkins Hospital.
And it was like they responded to a crisis, which was great. But I would love to see that more often, not just because an incident happened.
We talked with Crystal Dayton, a community resource specialist, on the day of the mass overdose. She and her team are stepping up to quell community concerns about the drug problems at Penn North. She says it starts by meeting people where they are.
Implement more programming outside, like designate a corner where it's normally like that subway. You know, maybe we could have some meetings or activities there, because you're not going to have drug activity in a therapeutic, incident right there.
Now, as far as that overdose victim in her 60s, the banner also reports that she went into cardiac arrest and had to receive multiple doses of Narcan. She is seeking treatment now for the first time in 15 years. A lot of people in the Penn North community hoping that help continues beyond last week's mass overdose.
And you know what the funny part about this is that they've actually arrested 5 dealers. Think about that for a second, y'all. They've arrested 5 dealers. Now, to me, that means that they've always known who the people were that were selling drugs in the community. And that's what I always communicate to you guys. If we really wanted to fix our communities, we know how. And I ain't just talking about the black community. I'm talking about the white communities. We know how, because we know who the users are, and we know who the dealers are, and we know who the people that are distributing the testers, and we know who the runners are, and we know who the gun guys are, and we know who the shooters are, and we know who the kids that's gonna wind up becoming the bad kids when they get older, and they're gonna take the place of the ones that's doing all of the wrong stuff. We know who the people are in our community, so the police, they then raid everything, right? They go and arrest the 5 dealers. 5 of the dealers, not even the distributors, they go and arrest the dealers. And the first thing that came to my mind is, well, why wasn't they arresting the dealers prior to everybody getting a bad batch of Fenty? How come the dealers wasn't arrested if y'all already knew who they were? How come the dealers wasn't arrested prior to? Because they already know who they are. And I believe that it's a lot of people that's probably in on it. And so they have no interest in arresting the dealers. It's really an economy of itself. Miami, take Miami, for example. It is a hard argument that you can make that Miami is not even a city that was built off of real economic activity. Miami was built at a time where everything in America and the city itself was financially depressed and collapsed. Miami was largely built off of dope money. The city of Miami, the foundation of it, and the same way that Vegas was built off of the mob, Miami, you can make an argument, was economic activity and a financial boom for the drug industry, and that is how it became what it is today. Of course, corporate is always going to take over. Of course, after they rid themselves of the people that built the city, the drug dealers and the mob that do it. But 100%, Miami is cocaine city, baby. That's all it is. The underpinnings of all of these places is America, for God's sakes. When we cleanse it, after we build it, it's a different animal, right? But somebody had to sacrifice. Somebody had to go down. You had to have a whole lot of fiends in order to have great dealers. America. Before it was land of the free, home of the brave, you had to go and fight some people for this mug. People got tired of paying taxes with no land ownership, and so they defected over to America, and then they seen some people that was less than hospitable, and they said, listen, man, we need this land. You want that land, and we coming over here to take it. And so that's where war started. This is my land too now, homie. I can't go back home. I can't go home. I can't. And then that's when we start labeling it as freedom. We freedom! Because they seeking freedom from where they came, because they want ownership, but they don't have any ownership, but they got to still pay taxes on it. And so they all defect over here, and then it became a fight for freedom. The natives here was fighting for the freedom to continue to get these people off of the land, and the people that was leaving wanted freedom to be able to live the way that they wanted to live. And then once they conquered this land, right, throughout the wars and throughout the years, as the wars evolved, it became a war to build up this land. And that's when you had the transatlantic slave trade, and then we had to make sure that somebody had to suffer. Somebody got to get this mug, right? Somebody got to get the bad end of the stick. That's 3/4 of a man, 2/3 of a man. And then in order to weaken the South, they had to free the slaves. And so you got some benefits along with some financial incentives to do so, because everything is capitalistic. And so we had to, and then in the midst of you getting your freedom, you lost the plot. History of the world 101 right there. History of the world 101. But we all know what we're doing, but all of these environments and industries, this country, Miami, Vegas, everything that we have was all built on the backs of something else. And then we cleansed it and we made it nice. We tried to rewrite history a little bit, and we tried to make it nice so that we'll have a good conscience, or we'll feel good about where we live. Oh man, come down to Miami. Then we seen black women twerking on it, and we said we had black fatigue right after that.
So President Trump is speaking right now at the White House. He is going to sign this HALT Fentanyl Act. Let's watch.
It doesn't sound like much. It's a big deal, as they will tell you, meaning anyone caught trafficking these illicit poisons will be punished with a mandatory 10-year minimum sentence in prison. We'll be getting the drug dealers, pushers, and peddlers off our street, and we will not rest until we have ended the drug overdose epidemic. And it's been getting a little bit better, but it's horrible. It's horrible. We're going to end it once and for all. And we're pleased to be joined on this occasion by my future DEA administrator. He's going to be a very important position, Terry Cole. Where's Terry Cole? Hello, Terry Cole. I hope you're as good as they say, Terry. I hope you're as good as Glenn Youngkin says, because it was his recommendation that got you this job. You better do a good job, or I'm blaming Glenn. Glenn, I'm going to blame you if he's no good. And who the hell knows, but I have a feeling he's going to be great. Is he that good? All right, good. You better be good.
Most people, most executive CEOs, that's why it's important to have relationships, because most of the jobs, whether you become president of the United States of America and you start to hire people under you, or you're a CEO of a company and you start to hire people under you, it's impossible for these people to vet everybody that's around them. So what happens is that they depend on other people that they trust to make recommendations to do great jobs. That's why it's important for you to network. That's why it's important for you to get in certain circles, because you're not visible unless you then get a recommendation from somebody that invites you into the club. Most things in life are members only. Most things in life is members only. When I was thinking about, oh man, I'm thinking about redoing my studio. I got $100,000 budget. Carrie was like, I know a girl. I was like, you like her? I never knew her. Never knew her, never seen her work, never cared what she did before, but I trusted Carrie. Why? Because Carrie is a person that is close to me and is tight with me. And Carrie has never led me to believe that she wants anything except for the best for me. So it made my job easier because I got 1,000 things going on. I'm not about to sit here and trying to figure out whether or not you're any good or not. Carrie, you know her? Yep. Yeah, Anton, I work with. Don't even say no more. I bet. She came through. Hey, Carrie said that she know you. She said that you're a good person. Oh yeah, I'm great at what? Okay, cool. Give me a timeline. Give me a budget. Just send me X amount of dollars. I have it done. Don't even. You just come back in 3 months. All right, cool. Sent her the money. Came back. Oh man, she did a great job. End of the conversation. That most things are based off of when you get to a certain level. Is based off of who you know and great recommendations and who you trust. And that's what Trump is basically teaching. It's so many lessons in all of these things that we look at on a regular basis.
But it was really, Glenn has had tremendous experience with Terry, and he said he's fantastic. He did the job like nobody that you've seen, and we take your word for it. Thank you very much, Glenn. Also with us is Secretary Kristi Noem, who's doing a fantastic job. Where's Kristi? Where are you? Kristi. Hi, Kristi. She is doing a great job with Tom Homan, who's fantastic. He's also central casting. He does serve the central casting role too, doesn't he? And he's a great guy. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. Steve, thank you very much. Thank you. Good job.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
So, anyways, Trump is signing a bill that basically tackles and addresses the fentanyl crisis, such as what you're seeing over in Baltimore. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Deacon Weasel says, let's do a virtual comedy show on Friday. You don't want that. You don't want that. Griselda Blanco has a huge hand in building Miami. Yeah, I was watching a little bit of that series. You know, series is a little bit sensationalized. Series is a little bit of sensationalized. You know, it's so many people in the chat that I would normally bring up so that I can spend the next 10, 15, 20 minutes going off on. But I'm just in such a good mood. I ain't even going to kid you. I don't know what it is. I've been just on this floating. No worries, no troubles. I wake up, I don't even look at my watch or my Apple Watch. I just wake up like, sun's out, guns out, life is good. And then I just get up and start doing whatever I'm going to do. I don't worry about time. I don't worry about none of that. And I don't want to force it. You know, if I don't feel like going off on somebody, I'm not going to go off on them just because that's something that I would normally do. I don't want to force it. It has to be organic. When I finally hand select you and say you are gay, then it will be warranted. It's not going to be forced. You know? Just chilling. It's a good day outside. Probably going to get my car washed. Have a good time. You said going off on Dusty's is part of the show. Yeah, but let me tell you why I don't always do it. See, AD, I think I'm the only one here that can take your criticism and not highlight like the others do. Let me tell you why I'm not going to go off on them. Because I think that some people try hards, right? And that means that usually some people will try to get your attention. So I know that, you know, there's some people that just authentically disagree with you. And then that's the one that you highlight. Oh, man, why would you say that? You Dusty, you doing this, so on and so forth, right? And then there's other people that come in to try to get your attention. Hey, what can I say? I don't like your bald head, or you stupid. And so they keep saying little stuff so that they can try to get your attention. And then eventually you supposed to say, see you? So you've been edging for this. And so I'm supposed to do it. It's like, you got to be able to have discernment to know when it's organic or when it's a try hard. A lot of try hards, they try Like they'll come in and they'll say something egregious and then they'll see if anybody gonna respond to them and then they'll say it again or they'll say something slightly different from it or revise the message in order for you to get. It's like, yeah, I don't really feel like playing that game. Like it's not organic. You trying too hard, you know? You know? See, like Damien. Damien has been trying to get my attention all day. All day. And think about it. He got my attention the other day, and then now he's trying to double up because a lot of people feel as though they need that. They need that. They need that dopamine. They don't feel like you love them until you go off on them. But I don't feel like going off because I'm not in the go off mood. And so I'm just chilling. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why? Attention seekers. We seen them in high school. We seen them in college. You see them in your family. They got to say the loud thing. They got to try to get everybody attention. They're not just going with the vibes or going with the organic flow. You know, they got to yell out something so everybody could look at them. You know, the guy on the corner. When I was in California, I was in Newport Beach, and there was a guy and it was another guy that pulled up mistakenly in a spot that wasn't a parking spot. And so the guy next to him was like, he pulled out his phone. Hey, everybody, look at this guy right here. I can't believe he parked in the parking spot. And we was looking like, it's a little extra. You're just doing a lot, big dog. Just calm down. It's not that deep. It's not that deep, you know? It's doing a lot. It's a lot that goes along with it. So pray for discernment, y'all. Pray for discernment for people that are attention seekers versus people that just organically may disagree with you. Because sometimes y'all give y'all life force and y'all life energy to stuff that's not necessary. It's not necessary. Go with the vibes. You know what I'm saying? Go with the vibes. People do a lot, you know, and especially, and I can even understand if it's a woman or if it's a little kid or something like that. But I think the worst part about it is when you're a grown man doing it. Like if you're a grown man and you still seeking attention, if you above the age of like 23, especially for these guys that's like 40, y'all 40. You know? Ain't you supposed to be changing tires or, you know, working in an auto body shop or something? Ain't that what most of y'all do when y'all, you know, just getting out of jail and you trying to figure out what to do with your life? And so, you know, you become a line cook at some local restaurant that would normally have hired a migrant, but you convinced them that you would work just as hard as a migrant for slightly more pay. And, you know, you do line cook in the daytime. You got a woman at home that's trying to convince you and be a good wife to you, be a good girlfriend to you because she know you just got out of jail and you don't got nobody else. And so she don't really want to be there, but she really do have to hold you down. You know what I'm saying? Because what else are you going to do? You know, your parents is no longer here. Your brother done moved on and he probably in a different space. He in the military. And so you don't want to be the one to embarrass your family. And this is your second strike and you don't want to go to jail for a third one. So it's a woman that's really trying to hold you down. And now you on here on the internet talking about, man, these bitches ain't shit when she ain't. You know what I'm saying? Like you was on your last felony. You one step away. She held you down and she's trying to motivate you and she could be with a different guy, but she stayed loyal, you know. So you work hard in the tire shop. You don't want to take mess from your boss, your white boss, and you learned all of that jail speak and you was hanging out with the Hebrew Israelites and the Muslims in prison. And so everything you come out talking about is the black man, the white man. And she keep trying to tell you, no, honey, if you get fired from this job, you may get, you know what I'm saying? Your parole officer going to want to know what happened. Don't hit him. Don't hit him. She keep trying to tell you, but you destined to go back to jail. Ain't that what you niggas do? Ain't that what y'all do? I know you. I know you got to go to the line. I know you got to get on the line. I know that you're on your way for your manufacturing job. I know. Never thought you was good at school. always kept saying how you wasn't good at math and social studies, so you never thought that you can be anything. I know how it is. I know what it is. All you niggas got the same story. All of the dusty older guys that want my attention in the chat, they have the same story. Man, I was never good at math. I was never good at putting my words together, so I don't know how to get my words out right so that I could talk to her and tell her that, I'm not that confident, but I thank you. And so instead of you doing that, you lash out and you smack the shit out of her. You don't get it. You don't get it. I see you. I see you. I see you. Sit down, learn something. Sit down and learn something. Let me learn you something, big dog. I ain't trying to go off on you. I don't want to cap on you, and I'm not gonna be the person that I'm not trying to embarrass you. I'm not gonna embarrass you. I'm not gonna tell. Man, I ain't tripping off of that. I know what your insecurities are. I know that the reason that you lashed out and you always wanted to beat up on other people was because you felt insufficient and you didn't feel smart enough. And so you felt like you had to make up, what you were physically. You had to overcompensate physically because intelligence-wise, you never really had it. And so, that's why you keep arguing with people about education. School's a scam. School's a scam. School ain't a scam. You smart enough for that. You smart enough to know school was a scam, but you could never get an A unless we was running laps. But you didn't want to be called the workhorse. You got tired of being called the dumb athlete. You're not dumb. You're just not as smart as everybody else. And that's okay because we all have levels. There's levels to this, because just because she's smart don't mean that she's not going to be for the streets either. But you don't have to revel in the idea that somebody else is on the same level as you. You could still be a good person. You may not necessarily be the person that's supposed to be on the microphone. Keep trying to start a podcast. What did he say? What did he say? Cut. Let's start it all over again. But this is the 5th time that we started over. Neanderthal. No. We can get this back. We can get it because Anton said if we just stay on it and we just be consistent, that eventually we get better. And I've been recording myself in the screen. Yeah. So man, these bitches ain't shit, dog. Play to your strengths. Play to your strengths. No, they not. Autocorrect is not messing up your words. You just can't talk. Nigga, you talking, you typing like you talk. Anyways. Y'all ready to get on with the show? I don't feel like going off on nobody today, so I'm not calling nobody out. I'm not calling nobody out. All right, y'all ready? All right, let's continue. All right, so let's keep ourselves in check. Let's be mindful. Let's not push it. Tim Walz racks up $430,000 in bills just to prepare him for a Congress hearing. Check it out. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
Tax dollars tonight. It costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to prepare Governor Tim Walz for a congressional hearing in Washington, D.C.
Chief Political Reporter Tom Hauser was there for that hearing last month, and tonight he's following up, asking the governor about the price tag.
Governor Walz defends the spending of $430,000 in legal fees to prepare for that hearing. He told me he agrees the amount is ridiculous, but he blames Republicans in Congress who invited him and 2 other Democratic governors to testify so they could be publicly criticized about immigration.
Do you all solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Governor Walz appeared before the House Oversight Committee with governors of Illinois and New York to answer questions about immigration.
Minnesota legislature has passed no such bill, making Minnesota a sanctuary state, and I have signed no such law.
Other than brief opening statements, the governors weren't given much time to respond. But Walz certainly should have been prepared. According to the Legislative Advisory Commission, the governor's office requested payment of $430,000 for legal services related to congressional hearing and testimony.
There's only two things that this can be for, y'all. All right? It's only two things. But let's just think about the magnitude of what happens here, because y'all be on me, y'all be on people, y'all talk about pocket watching and being on people's tails of what it is that they doing and if they got a new car. Tim Walz just spent a Rolls Royce on legal services to prepare him for a congressional hearing, which he didn't even really speak at. Let me say that again for the people in the back, because this is not his money. This is one of the reasons why it is important for people to achieve a certain level of power, whether you be the governor of a state or the mayor of a city or some Congress member. He was able to effectively spend without oversight, without problems, any of that stuff. These people spend money like it's going out of style. They have no sense of budget or direction. He spent $430,000 paid taxpayer dollars. $430,000 taxpayer dollars to prepare him for a congressional hearing. So it's only two things that could be amiss here. All right. The first thing that could be amiss is that they just don't give a fuck and they just gonna spend taxpayer dollars and they don't care. And so when you go to work and you bust your ass every day and you see that Minnesota tax, that MI tax or that MEN tax, they don't care. Listen, once it leave your hands and it go into their hands, they the ones that's gonna be the stewards of it. Vote 30 out the window. The other alternative is that it's a finesse. Kickbacks, finesse. Hey, listen, man, prepare me for the congressional hearing. I do want you to actually do some work, so it's not like we not actually taking advantage of the services. Hit me off with 50 on this side. Hit me off with 50 on my contribution. Hit me off with another 100 on this. You pocket $230,000 just for preparation for my congressional hearing. Give me 200. You live good. We live good. So on and so forth. That's the game, baby. That's the rules of the game. For what is supposed to cost $15,000, you can build a state for $30,000. Let me get 200, you get 230. Life is good, but we can't actually have you giving me 200 in cash. So we gonna spend it like this, and then we gonna have another 75 going into my re-election campaign. So I want you to be a heavy contributor to that, and then we gonna put another 50 over there. Make sure you put another 50 over there for a trust, or some backdoor trust for my daughter or my son, and then we gonna go from there. So it's really only two options here, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying that that's what he did. But what I am telling you is that when you start to look at numbers this big, we can't just sit here and play games and act like this is not a real thing. If you think that they actually prepared $430,000 worth of services, because law firms are billable hours. It's the amount of hours that you have to be billable for. So $430,000 of billable hours to prepare him for a congressional hearing, which he didn't even really speak at. You got to be kidding me, bro. If I'm in Minnesota and I'm paying attention to this guy who proposed to be the vice president of the world, right? He wanted to be vice president of the world. I would be going crazy. I would be trying to figure out what's going on. I would be combing through that budget with a fine-tooth comb. All of the journalists over there in Minnesota should be on top of this. If you want to blow up, if you're a content creator, I don't know no content creators that blew it from Minnesota, that blew it from Minneapolis, all right? No content creators from a lot of places. I don't know any that's blowing up from Minneapolis. If you're a Minneapolis content creator and you are in the political or financial space, the first thing that I would be doing is I would be submitting Freedom of Information Act's requests to find out exactly where the money is going, how it's being spent, and I would be holding my governor accountable if I'm over there in Minnesota. If you are a journalist worth your salt, you are supposed to be deep diving into finding out exactly what this legal bill is. This is crazy.
In this memo first obtained by the Star Tribune, this transfer is to pay outside legal counsel for services rendered in preparation for the June 12th House Oversight Committee. Governor, can you understand why taxpayers might look at a $430,000 legal bill and think that that is excessive?
Yes, and they should be angry at those folks. There's no reason that we needed to be there. We provided all the documentation. We told them that.
Walz says the hearing...
Did you hear the spin? Did you hear the spin? Hey, man, this is Congress's fault. Hey, this is the federal government's fault. They should have never asked me for any kind of transparency in the first place, that I could have just went up there and just told and said what I had already said without any kind of... This is their fault that we had to bring in a $430,000 firm in order to prepare me for a congressional hearing. It's not my fault. It's the Congress's fault. Yeah, I would be pissed too at Congress.
Was all about, quote, grandstanding, and he was given little time to respond to any question.
Do you agree with the Attorney General's guidance?
Congressman, what I would say on this is that Minnesota follows all law. I would say
it's a very easy question.
It's ridiculous. It's why we asked them to allow us not to have to be there. Certainly, I would tell you what, it's not where I wanted to spend money. It's not where I wanted to spend my time. And it certainly proved that there was nothing there other than using it as grandstanding.
Could you have used your own legal staff or the Attorney General's office at a much lower cost?
No, probably not. And they didn't have the expertise for this of what they were asking.
Now, there were also travel costs associated with that trip to Washington, D.C. At least 5 people were on the trip, including the governor, his general counsel, a communications aide, and 2 state troopers for security. The governor's office tells me the figures for those expenses are not yet available.
So not only did they spend $430,000 for preparation, they probably spent another $500,000 to get there and get back. State troopers, they got the best job in the world. You get to ride on a private plane, baby, and go over to Washington, D.C., watch Tim Walz cramp up, and then come on back. And y'all got the nerve to be sitting there asking me how much I make or what it is that I do when they just spent $1 million without even blinking? Just $1 million, just gone out the window. $1 million just disappeared. Just famouche. Doesn't even exist anymore. And y'all got the nerve to be sitting there asking people who y'all see every day grinding, hustling, going to get it, contributing back, blowing back, and all of this other type of stuff, and he'll jump on a $1 million trip without even thinking twice. He make Tiffany Henyard look like a child out here. Making Tiffany Henyard over there look like child's play, the way that they finessing taxpayers over there in Minnesota. But y'all love him. Y'all voted for him. Y'all called him America's dad. Remember they tried to give that name, that label to him? He's America's dad. Oh, they just throw y'all money in the ground and y'all don't even care. Let me go get a Cybertruck and of my own money, and oh man, I can't believe it. These politicians take y'all money and y'all don't even question it. Think about that for a second. Y'all don't even trip. I asked the guy on Monday's night panel, I said, man, why you don't vote? Why you don't participate? Why you not trying to understand what goes on in your county and your community? Oh man, I don't even care. It ain't no big deal. You know what I'm saying? But I'm all about these hoes. I'm all about these hoes though, you know? And so I'll be like, man, that's crazy to me because they take y'all money and y'all don't even question. Y'all don't even ask what they doing with it. They take your money. You pay their salary. You pay for police. You pay for fire. You pay for sanitation. You pay state taxes. You do all of this stuff and you ain't even tripping about it. They take your money and then they abuse you with it and you love them for it. I contributed to your business and you hate me for it. It's okay. It's okay. You got it. See how Thizzle TV2 said, man, F voting. I see why a lot of these women, you know what? I'm starting to switch over a little bit. I'm trying, fellas. I'm trying my hardest. I'm trying to be an advocate for y'all. I'm trying to push. I'm pushing through, but it's hard. It's hard, man. When y'all just say crazy stuff like fuck voting, how is anybody in your household supposed to follow you niggas? Could you imagine being a woman that's actually smarter than the man that you're talking to that has no leadership skills? Could you imagine that for a second? Do you know the level of humility that you probably have to have as a woman to deal with a nigga that is that Neanderthal, but for the sake of companionship, you just gonna go ahead and see it through? Can you imagine having to lower yourself to that of a servant, to a nigga that is a Neanderthal? To a person that says and with an N. I don't work and I still make money, but it ain't an and. It ain't A-N-D. It's just an N. Do you know how difficult it would have to be to actually be a person to get with a Neanderthal and to be like, you know what? I am going to follow your leadership. I am going to make sure that I do what you tell me to do. And you are going to lead us to greatness. And this nigga is a fucking idiot. That a nigga will sit there and tell you, I don't fucking vote. That's why I have all of your hoes inside of my DMs, bro. I'm telling you the truth. They won't, even if they gotta share me, they want leadership, dog. They want a person that they can look to that's actually can tell them to shut the fuck up and go to sleep, and they gonna believe in him. They gonna go right to sleep. You know why? Because I'm not an idiot. That's it. All you got to do is not be a halfway idiot. For the fellas that's out here that's in the streets, let me just give y'all a little bit of insight, all right? If you are not an idiot, you already are winning the game. If you're not an idiot, you are already winning in the game. You won. You ain't got to do nothing else. Don't worry about all of this shit that they talking about online. All you got to do. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm playing in your daycare. I got you. I got you, Kristen. For the rest of the show, I'm 100% PG-13. All you have to do is not be an idiot and you're a winner. That's it. Talk about it. You see, I see you. I see you in the chat. Talk about it. Go to sleep. All you got to do is not be an idiot. Somebody that they can believe in. Good gosh. Throughout the show, I'll give you an example of somebody that they don't want to follow. All right. Throughout the show, I'm going to give y'all an example of somebody that I'm going to go on PG-13 for the rest of the show. Because Kristen says that she wants me to be able to play in a daycare, so I'm on it. I got you, Kristen. If you're 46 years old, you got the gray hairs, it's time to give up the rapping if you haven't made it by now, big dog. If you are 46 years old and you still trying to get it off, yo. Yo, I got him. Yo, step back for a second. My turn. It's my turn now. Yo. I'm in the vicinity, shooting times affinity, trying to get the pennies in. And I'm going to go ahead and hitting me. Let's go. Kicking it in with my dogs, and we hitting Detroit, and we going to get in through the fog and freestyle. Yo, this is all my kicking it. You don't want to see it because we got the publicity hitting him in his chest, and I'm going to stick at him, put him in the ground so it's grandma's wicked him at his funeral. Like, come on, dog. It's over. It's over. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Just let it go, bro. 46, a job, 401k, all of that, bro. If you haven't made it, if you already there, you got a legacy catalog, you're a performer, we should be holding up our legends and letting them to be able to perform and to go out with grace the same way that they do the rock and roll agents. But if we 46 and you haven't made it and you still telling me that you got a plug on getting on radio and you still going up to WJLB to freestyle on Friday nights, let it go, bro. It's over. It's over. It's it. It's it. We don't want to see you in those ciphers. We don't want to see you in nowhere. You never gonna make the freshman cover, bro. Let's let it go. Throughout the show, I'm gonna give you examples of things that we need to let go once we hit our 40s, all right? At 37, you right there. You're right there. Keep on telling your girl to let's stay on hold so I can follow my dreams. She keep giving you her paycheck every week. Keep on telling her, hey, hold me down. Let's build something together. Let me get a piece of your 401k so I can invest in my business. What kind of business are you going to do, honey? What kind of business are you going to do? Yeah, baby. I got this dream. I want to start a record label. Well, honey, I don't think that that's a good use of our funds. We should probably invest in the stock market and become a part of Bag Chasers and get in the stock club. You see what I'm saying, man? I can't deal with these black women, yo. I can't deal with them, bro. They never want to hold us down. They never trying to hold us down, man. I got dreams. You know what I'm saying? I know what happens when you stay consistent. I know I can make it. I know it, bro. I got skills. It's, you know what I'm saying? The guy from Kentucky Fried Chicken, the Colonel Sanders, he didn't make it until he was in his 50s and 60s, and then he got rich. These women don't never want to go in on your dreams, bro. I'm telling you, I got it. Oh my God. Babies crying, still living in the hood. You still doing the same thing. I got you. Don't worry about it. We gonna get there. We gonna get there. We gonna get there. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Shout out to Molly. Molly says politics is glamorized. Panhandling. That is exact high-end panhandling. That's all these politicians are prostitutes. Marcelo says, curious, when does it make sense to open up a business line of credit? If I plan on scaling and going more towards luxury branding, would it be smart to put the initial investment on credit, and how would it help? Well, I have a rule of thumb. And my rule of thumb is you never take out credit from a business perspective unless you have reached the capacity by which you can grow your business and you are solidly profitable. Let me say that again for the people in the back. I don't believe in using business credit unless you are trying to grow the business, but you are also solidly profitable. So basically, you are stuck in a space to where you are limited by your capacity. You're limited by your ability to distribute. You're limited because you have a product you are selling. You're doing really well. You're profitable, and you want to expand the business, but you're limited by your capacity because you have to spend the majority of your money. You reinvest them back into your business. Then I think that you should start to think about opening up a line of credit, and only then, when you have become profitable, solidly profitable. AD, you should make sure those who speak on your panels are tax-paying, car and home owning, and productive, because the degenerates are more outspoken. Mr. Lott says, y'all idiots make it difficult for me. I was hanging with a lady last night and she was amazed at how I could communicate and enunciate. Please put the fries in the bag and don't oversalt them. No, they're making it good for you because when they get done with the Neanderthal, then you can sweep in and do your thing. All right, y'all, let's continue on with the show. So, in addition to that, the Obamas. Obama. Michelle. Hey, everybody. How's it going? From the south side of Chicago. Single parent. Michelle. Hey. And Michelle's brother. What's your name again? Obama. Yeah. I don't know where Biden is. I don't know where Biden is. But the one thing that I do know is the one thing I do know, though, is our young people, they have a level of enthusiasm and hope. Hope. Not faith. Hope is the thing that you want to hold on to. Okay? So, Craig, clean it up. Clean it up. Michelle's carrying this thing. Obama. Everybody's favorite uncle. Everybody's favorite uncle. We all seen this coming a mile away. It was really just a matter of time before it was only a matter of time. Shout out to my dog Slimmy. It was only a matter of time before he eventually appeared on Michelle's podcast with her brother Craig on the IMO podcast. And so we are going to explore it in two parts. We're going to break this down into two parts, ladies and gentlemen. The first part is obviously the beginning and them trying to, what looks like and what everybody is saying is that they're trying to quell the divorce rumors. All right. They're trying to quell the divorce rumors. So I am going to first explore it from that lens. And this is Michelle, Craig, and Big O. Let's take a look.
This woman came up to me and she was so nice. She was like, "Can I have a picture?" Yeah.
I will say that I did watch a lot of this, most of it, because I wanted to be prepared. And I will say that Craig's alien-shaped head, this is Craig. This is Michelle's brother. Craig's alien-shaped head really did a lot of talking this episode. He's really inserted himself. And I guess the people behind the scenes are saying, Michelle is taking all of the shine. We want to bring Craig in a little bit. Craig decided that he wanted to really, really assert himself this episode during the Obama episode, which I found interesting. So anyways, we're going to fast forward to the part where she basically introduces and brings in Obama. I don't know which part that is. Let me see exactly. There he is. Obama. Hey, guys.
Very special.
Someone near and dear.
This
my
is the
heart.
episode that everyone's been waiting for.
Because
With bated breath. Because we have my brother-in-law, your husband,
my man,
the former president of the United States.
He made time in his busy schedule
he's
to
just
come on
so
IMO.
busy.
We are just so grateful.
He
We have the
squeezed
former
us-
president of the United States. We are honored.
to have Barack.
I will say about Michelle that the one thing that people cannot take away from her is she does have a level of intelligence and she does speak clearly. She is not in the same space as a lot of our ghetto boos that's a part of our community. I may not necessarily agree with a lot of the takes and the things that she says, but I will tell you that she does speak very well and she speaks clearly. She speaks very well and she speaks clearly. I have to lead with a compliment before we start the deep dive into this show. All right. Always give a compliment before you give a criticism.
Obama join us.
Barack Obama, can you join us on
Come
our
on
set?
out here, brother.
Welcome
man.
to IMO. Look at you, Kitty. How are you?
Wait, you guys like each other?
Oh yeah, really? Huh?
That's so
the
nice.
rumor mill. It's my husband, y'all.
She took me back.
Now don't start.
I can't.
It was touch and go for a while.
It's so nice to have you both in the same room
I
together.
I know, because when we aren't, folks think we're divorced.
Let me tell you. First of all, see, I'm in Wichita, Kansas for Austin's tournament, and this podcast has made me quite popular.
You're big shot.
Famous.
And people come up to me all the time. This woman came up to me and she was so nice. She was like, "Can I have a picture?" Yeah. And then, so you know how you get the side hug? And she's like, "What did he do?"
And you knew she was going to say what he did.
And I was like,
it wasn't like, what happened to him?
That is so
It was like,
terrible.
how'd he mess up?
How'd he mess up? And I said, well, what makes you think he messed up? Why couldn't it have been
why
her?
did you just say no one messed up?
Well, because I wanted to keep this conversation going so that I could tell you about it.
Oh, Lord.
I was like, what? And she's like, he did something, didn't he? I was like, don't worry, everything's fine. And let me tell you, she was so happy, you would have thought I gave her a Christmas gift.
These are the kinds of things that I just miss, right? So I don't even know this stuff's going on.
Right.
And then somebody will mention it to me, and I'm all like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
There hasn't been one moment in our marriage where I thought about quitting my man. And we've had some really hard times, but we have had a lot of fun times, a lot of adventures, and I have become a better person because of the man I'm married to.
Okay, don't make me cry now. Right at the beginning of the show.
Oh, that's sweet.
Don't let me start tearing up now.
And welcome to IMO.
Welcome to IMO. Get you all teared up. See, but this is why I can't talk. See, you can take the hard stuff, but when I start talking about the sweet stuff, you're like, stop, no, I can't do it.
I love it. I'm enjoying it.
But thank you, honey, for being on our show. Thanks for making the time. We got, as
you guys
Craig
are doing
said, we
good.
got a great
I've been listening. Of course, I've been listening.
Yeah. What? Any
Love
tips?
it.
Any
observations?
Observations?
Craig can tighten up a little bit.
All right, so let me give my assessment of everything, and it'll actually probably be a little bit different than everybody else's assessment. I believe that and this is one of the reasons. I'm a slow roll this for like a little bit, right? This is one of the reasons why I try to be a little bit more. This is one of the reasons why I try to be a little less talkative on after hours. Because you guys hear me all day, right? You hear me Monday through Friday. You hear me on Monday nights. You hear me on Millionaire Morning Show. You hear me on my reaction videos. You hear me on my vlog. You hear me giving my thoughts on all of these subjects all the time. So when I then alley-oop it and I'm asking you guys for grace, okay, on after hours, when I alley-oop it over to my friends on after hours and then I throw in a little bit here or there, I want to get all of the rest of the 6, 7 people that is it 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, whatever. All of the people, I want to get everybody else's opinion before I speak. So I usually try to, in most subjects, let other people communicate so they can get their thoughts off, because y'all hear me talk about this type of stuff all day long. So a lot of people already know what I'm going to say. Now, my honest opinion is this. I'm going to speak about a couple things and then I'm going to go over to the next subject because I want to break this down into 2 parts. The first thing is their marriage, right? Quelling rumors of a divorce. Michelle Obama and Barack Obama will never get divorced, no matter what they're going through, no matter who's doing what, no matter what y'all opinion is, and no matter how angry people get. The fact is, and you can see it here, it doesn't matter if they like each other, if they don't like each other, they will never get divorced. Presidents don't get divorced in the modern era. We could talk about it. We can go back and forth about it. We can make jokes about it. We can do reaction videos to the rumors. But here is the truth. Some people don't get divorced. It's just the way that it is. However you want to frame it. And I don't even think that this should be a huge thing, because white people and people in popular culture do this all the time. This is not new. Some people are so intertwined in popular culture with how it is that people see them and how it is that they have to intersect in their business lives and their images and how they present themselves. And this is also one of the cons if, and I don't know what the dynamics of their relationship is, if they actually don't like each other, or if they decide that they didn't want to be together anymore, they're going to be together for the rest of their life, because you can't have Barack without Michelle. It's just the way that it is. That's the way that it is. That's the way of life. When you become a culture popular figure, if you decide that you want to become a politician, you got to make all your decisions early, because everything that you do after that is set in stone. This is just the way that it is. It's the way that it got to go. They're never getting divorced. No matter what you say, no matter how we play it, no matter what our opinion is, no matter what we think, they're not getting divorced. It's not a thing. It's not ever going to happen. Do I believe that they are still in a relationship? 100%. Do I believe that they're happy 100% of the time of the relationship? 100%. Do I think that they maybe have some alternative arrangements in order for them to ensure that they show up with each other every once in a while? Or, he's probably business, or in an alternative arrangement don't even necessarily mean that you're talking to anybody else. It could mean that he's spending the majority of his time on the road doing his thing, and spending the majority of her time trying to find herself, which is one of the reasons she got a podcast now. And then maybe they come together and they still cool, or they maybe still, I don't even like to say having sex, but they married, so they have sex or whatever. They may see each other once every couple weeks, and then they may whatever, so on and so forth, right? But I believe that even in regular relationships, as you get older, I don't believe that people spend as much time together. I think that people start to really discover the things that they want to do separately from the person that they're busy with, in addition to the things that they used to be together all the time for, which is raising the children, building a wealth, building a legacy, doing all of this. But as you continue to expand, I don't think that your identity personally is directly tied to the person. When your kids get out the house, especially if you have resources, now you start to get back to discovering the thing that made you great in the first place. For a man, it could be speeches. In Obama's case, chasing this, trying to be successful, building a business, whatever. For her, she could be wanting to discover herself and go back to school, or, start a podcast like Michelle Obama did, or whatever, so on and so forth. But the fact of the matter is, the relationship is no longer going to be defined by how close y'all got to spend the majority of y'all time together for kids and whatever it is else that y'all was doing. And when it becomes public figures like these people, like a president and all of that, no, I don't think that they're ever going to get divorced. I don't. I don't believe that they're ever going to get divorced. That's my opinion. I do think that they are still together, and I don't believe that they spend as much time with each other, and that clearly is a thing. And I think that I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it at all. The other part that I want to have a conversation about is his presidency. I don't have a problem with Obama's presidency. I don't. I believe that black people had an expectation that this guy was going to do something for them, and he never promised y'all that he was going to do anything for y'all separately anyway. I was old enough to remember what it was like in 2008, because I was solidly in my 20s. I was 26 years old, and I was a voter. I was going through some stuff, and I was able to live through a solid chunk of my younger adult life through 8 years of Obama. And I'm not necessarily mad at his presidency because it's some things that he did right. It's some things that he got right that I absolutely agreed with. He was tough on illegal immigration into this country, in which his predecessor, Biden, was not. He was very tough. I will say that he worked with the automakers in order to save the auto industry that Bush had absolutely ruined. Now, you also got to take into consideration that the expectations for me personally, even though for black people it was high, for me the expectations was low because we had just came off of the Bush era. And to mention the Obama era without the Bush era would be like mentioning the Trump era without the Biden era. You can't separate the two because one was the predecessor for the other, which we then used to judge the next person that came out of it. So if I'm comparing Obama to Bush the second, I'm taking Obama all day, every day. If you take me back in time and you say, Anton, you either got to vote for, and they both running at the same time, you got to vote for Bush the second or Obama. I'm voting for Obama 10 times out of 10. As a Republican, as a conservative, I would vote for Obama 10 times out of 10 versus voting for Bush the second as a Republican. Bush the second, in my opinion, is probably one of the worst. And Biden is getting up there, but I'm never going to put Biden above Bush the second because Bush made sure that everybody was broke. Bush didn't just make sure his friends got rich. He made sure everybody was broke. Somebody said both terrible. Nope. Obama wasn't great. Bush was terrible. Listen, there's levels to this. There's levels to this. Bush was terrible. And if I have to compare one to the other, I will tell you that Obama is light years ahead of what Bush was. And Obama was necessary at the time. And I hate to be saying this, but I have to be objective. He didn't do some of the things that I would advocate for a smart president to do. He definitely left us with the legacy of Obamacare. He definitely left us with the legacy of the LGBTQ community. It was a lot of things that he left on the table. However, he was handed a piece of a trash can. He was handed the worst possible situation that any president in my lifetime has ever had to face. And I have to add that into the conversation. Bush the second, bro, y'all had to be alive. You had to be alive. From 2000 to 2008, good God. That 2000 I graduated in high school. By 2008, I was moving back into my mama's basement. Good God. Lord have mercy. Everybody ain't had no job. Ain't no what you know economy? Oh, Jesus Christ. Economy? Boy. Let me tell you something. Time changes all history and heals all wounds. But I'm trying to tell you, bro. Look, see, David says Obama as an LGBTQ president, right? Agreed. We don't disagree on that. But let me tell you what doesn't matter when you broke. What your sexuality is. The last thing that we was thinking about was gay rights. We was trying to figure out how we was going to feed ourselves. And that largely came on the backs of Bush II. Nobody cares about what people doing in their bedroom. That is a privilege that we have the opportunity to talk about today. Nobody cares what somebody doing in their bedroom when everybody is broke. When ain't nobody got no jobs and everybody trying to figure out how they going to eat tomorrow, nobody cares. That is something that we in hindsight can look at and say, man, that's messed up that he championed and advocated for some of the worst things when it came to our culture, especially as far as the alphabet community. But in the time living it, bro, we was trying to survive. We was trying to figure out how to get some money. The job market in the United States of America was a nightmare. Y'all don't realize how bad it was in 08, bro. As a 43-year-old man, 2008 was worse than anything I've ever seen in my entire life. Some people say, yo, Anton, would you ever go back to your 20s? Never, ever, 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 ever would I go back to my 20s. Never. Ever. It was the worst. 07, 8, 9. Bruh. You don't know, man. You don't know, bro. You don't know, bro. You really don't know. People were killing themselves. People were killing themselves because they lost everything. And when I mean everything, I mean everything. People was losing everything. And people were straight up jumping off of buildings at that time. The San Francisco Bridge had some of the highest suicide rates in history. It was bad, bro. It was so bad. So bad. Oh my God. I'm telling you, bro. It was bad. It was bad. It was bad. It was bad. It was so bad. I ain't never seen no junk like that before. I seen it was people in pantry lines, the food lines, jobs was getting eliminated by the hundreds of thousands and the millions every single month. Every single month, bro. No, it's not a lot of people that was alive that was out. You got to remember, bro, it's people that's watching this live stream that's 30 years old, for example, 27, 28, 29, 30 years old, which means that they wasn't even out of high school. Some of them wasn't even out of middle school. Some of them wasn't even out of middle school. I'm not even sure some of y'all was even out of elementary school. A lot of people wasn't, they don't know. They were protected by their parents who was going through it. Telling you, bro, it was bad. It was bad. So I don't have a problem with Obama's presidency per se. I don't agree with a lot of the things that happened during his presidency, but I think that he was handed us some trash, bro. He was handed some trash. He was, bro. It was bad. So, with that being said, let's pivot for a second. Let's take a minute to read some of the super chats. I be having flashbacks on 08, bro. I be having flashbacks. Oh, wait, give me the... Anton, you ever want to go back to... Y'all know how you get on the elevator sometimes, or you go into a place and they got a floor that they skipped? I think it's like 13 or something like that. Just remove 8. Just remove the number 08 from any elevator. Just remove it out of your vocabulary. I don't even want to talk about 08. The only thing that was happening good in 08 was my daughter was born. That's it. Wasn't no money. Wasn't nothing. Dog, I went and got a job at Home Depot overnight. And I was happy to have it, bro. That was my first, after the steel plant, my first job, my first like hourly job. After that, I was stocking shelves in Home Depot. Facts. Overnight. In the plumbing aisle. I was in the plumbing aisle. Putting up returns, taking boxes overnight. Throw some headphones in and was just stocking shelves. Oh, wait, I was stocking shelves overnight. Trying to get that money. Trying to get that money. I had a decision to make, too. I had a decision to make, bro. I had a decision to make. Stocking shelves. My homie over there, he thought we was work friends. He says, it's funny. He says, bro, I'm work. I said, oh, so where they got you stocked at? Electrical. I said, oh, word. I said, cool. You got an easy night tonight. He said, yeah. He said, dog, they got these breakers. I said, what about them? He said, dog, I looked them up on eBay. They selling for this amount. I said, I didn't hear nothing you said. Don't come back to my aisle. I don't want nothing to do with it. Man, I got a daughter. Not going to jail for you. Not going to jail for you. Eventually, I was able to get out of Home Depot and I got some better opportunities. I went back to school. I was working for, insurance verification for Bucko and all of that stuff. And I heard that he got arrested. I heard he eventually got arrested. I got a daughter. I'm not about to be stealing in here with you, boy. They know how many breakers they got in here. I said, bro, I don't know nothing about. I ain't warned him. I said, man, I don't want to know nothing. I ain't got nothing to do with it. I ain't hear you. I gotta stock these shelves. Boy, don't you know they know how many breakers is in that aisle? You know how much them bugs is? Did it, got away with it. He did it again. He got away with it. So, man, I'm out, bro. I don't want nothing to do with you. Don't even come to my aisle showing me nothing. I don't want to know nothing. I don't want to see nothing. Stock my shelves. I said, I'm not going down that path. I'm already at rock bottom, nigga. I'm not trying to go to jail and get a record, too. Yep, I work for Bucko. So Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I worked at Bucko in the Highland Park office. We was doing insurance verification for a lot of the manufacturers because we wanted to make sure that we was helping a lower cost for the manufacturers in order to do insurance verification. So we would have them come in or they would have to send in a copy of either their birth certificate or the 1040 and all of that. Yep. I worked for Bucko in Highland Park. That is correct. That is correct. So I don't want nobody sitting there telling me about Anton. You ain't never been through it, Anton. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know what I done seen. You don't know what I done turned down. You don't know nothing. You did the same from Humana? Yep. You don't know what I've been through at all. Crazy. Anyways, let's continue on with the show. I'm going to read super chats after this Obama segment. So let me go over to the next Obama segment. One of the things that they were talking about also on this, let me see. I guess I didn't get that one. Let me get this other one. One of the other things that we're talking about was the culture of men and going back to masculinity. All right. Men and going back to masculinity. And so they spoke about this throughout it. And I thought that it was interesting. And again, Craig had a lot to say in this episode, but let's see if we can mine through it. I'm trying to figure out exactly what that was. Boys in the media.
Or higher. And
now let me preface this. Let me give you all a little bit of the backstory. It was somebody that called in. Matter of fact, you know what? I could just play it. It was a caller that asked a question. And this is the precursor to this conversation right now. All right.
Dive into this topic. Hi, Michelle and Craig. I have 3 younger brothers and am a new mom to a 1-year-old little boy. What can we do to change the fact that we raise our girls and we love our boys? There is so much dialogue on raising strong, independent women, but how can we raise emotionally intelligent, competent men? I am deeply concerned by the ideology promoted to my younger brothers online. I want to raise a young man who sees through those ideas. How can we energize the discussion around raising young men that want to change these oppressive and even violent dynamics?
So, long story short, Emma, the mother and the sister of several different boys, right, is asking, and I'm going to give it to you from a C student's perspective, what she's basically asking Obama and Michelle and Craig is, How does she raise a boy that sees through the influences of what's happening online from male content creators that are basically taking hold and having a stronger impression on what happens in younger men inside of the household? All right. That is what she's asking. So that's the precursor to this conversation. So I can add that in there. All right. Let me see if we can get there. This is some of the things that was being said now as they had this discussion.
Do we know the parents where you're playing, and so on and so forth?
We see a good example in it in one of my favorite shows on Netflix that has become the topic of conversation amongst a lot of people, particularly in Black homes, is this series Forever, which is a beautiful story of young love in a Black neighborhood, and it is not traumatic, and bad things don't happen.
It's just regular kids.
It's just regular kids, right, that reflects all of our lives in real ways. And I know you watched some of that, and Barack, you are well aware of it. But the show has created a lot of conversation in terms of how do you raise emotionally intelligent boys and what we get right and what we get wrong. Not just among boys, but kids in general.
We watched it as a family. We watched the whole series as a family, and
See if I could pass.
Oh, you guys would have done that, or you because
that's the crazy. That's the crazy thing Dad would do.
Yeah. But this brings me back to Emma. Emma's trying to raise these boys, and so she's trying to be somewhere between Forever and then the other show that people are talking about, Adolescence, which I haven't watched yet, which it gets into sort of the misogyny that young boys are exposed to,
and the online,
the manosphere.
They're getting their parenting.
They're getting their
online.
parenting.
They're getting their notions of manhood from extremists.
Yeah, extremists.
I thought that this was a compliment personally. I felt like this was a compliment because what they're basically saying to me, and this is my translation of it, is that they are aware and they are paying attention to the things that men that have a huge platform or that have a significant platform are saying and influencing, and our influence online. I don't even necessarily chalk it up to the manosphere, right? Even though there are a lot of guys that have contributed to the conversations that's being had today, I don't chalk it up to the manosphere because I think that sometimes people like a Craig could mislabel, and that is a term that has been created by people such as the Angry Mans and the O'Shea Duke Jacksons and everybody that's contributed to it, and the people that's been having conversations a long time about the dynamics of masculinity online and stuff like that. It tells me that guys that are having conversations about the inner dynamics of relationships and what it means to be masculine are having an impact. And people all the way up until the president of the United States of America, or the former president of the United States of America, and his brother-in-law and his wife is paying attention and they listening. They're paying attention and they are listening. I would not necessarily put myself in that space. I've never labeled myself as a part of a manosphere. However, I cannot help the conversations, my associations, and more importantly, people categorizing you on their own. You don't have no control over how people categorize you. But what I will say is that I have conversations based off of popular culture. And a lot of that popular culture is the inner dynamics between men and women. And I think that men have been emasculated. I think that they've labeled toxic masculinity for so long, and now we don't have a conversation about it. But they're watching. We are the balance. I think that men that have a strong voice, that is not afraid to be truthful, honest, and at the same time be an equal accountability partner, they are the balance to the counterbalance or the imbalance that is happening in these conversations. For so long, women have had the microphones, women have had the promotion, women have had the books, women have had all of the resources, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and all of this other type of stuff. And then specifically, they're talking about boys. They're talking about black boys and black young men a lot of times, because you can actually see the label at the bottom. But they're basically saying that a lot of these guys are seeking out insight, information on how they need to be moving as men, and as well as they should. And one of the reasons I believe that they are doing that is because that is a part of who they are, a huge part of their DNA that has been missing in their lives, because so many guys have been raised in single parent households. So many guys have been bombarded in this culture by the feminization of men and the promotion of the alphabet community. So many guys have had, or is missing, a huge presence of who they are. And even a lot of you guys have had men in your lives, but y'all men, the men that y'all look to as an examples, were henpecked and they were neutered by their wives. And those are the guys that said, happy wife, happy life. And that's why I say that the boomer generation failed you guys. They failed y'all. And so what do? Your natural instinct is to go and find and seek out by default, because you know that this is not who you are. The same way that I knew that I was not supposed to be voting Democrat, but I was, because that is the thing that black people were supposed to do. And I started to seek out information for myself, and I found myself an imbalance between understanding and wisdom. And that is one of the reasons why I defected away from the Democrat plantation, is the same way that men by default go and seek out masculinity. I don't care how sassy he is. I don't care if he was raised in a single mother home. I don't care if you raised baby boy. I don't care if he hood. I don't care if he got a lot of money. I don't care if he a nerd. I don't care if he a basketball. I don't care who he is. By default, you are going to naturally be attracted to and seek out masculinity. It's just the way that it is. And because you guys did not do a good enough job, and our culture and our politicians champion things that wasn't best for men, as a matter of fact, they were against men, what you started to see was his natural affinity. So many guys, a natural affinity being attracted to, and then ultimately taking the advice, sometimes to their own demise, because not everybody needs a microphone, but taking advice from men that taught them and is giving them insight on how to embrace masculinity. And women were so surprised. Oh my God, I can't believe it's such an explosion. Where did these guys come from? Why do they think like this? Why did this, so on and so forth? Well, it's because so many people have been suppressed in their thoughts, and this is what the truth is. They are always going to come back to the thing that God made them to be. Right or wrong? They're always going to come back to the thing that God made them to be. No matter what their life was, they are going to be curious. Why am I not what it is that I'm supposed to be? Because that's just the way that God made you.
Not to divorce that work from some other stuff like men having jobs.
I totally agree. Totally agree. It was not an either or at all.
Exactly. But because part of what happened when we say there aren't a lot of men around.
Yes.
Part of
Jesse says, Anton, ain't it crazy to think the Obamas might be talking about you at home? No, I don't think it's crazy. I think that more people are aware of what we do and the impact that we make. Listen, bro, you would not believe the amount of people that I've been in the room with. And I didn't, you know when I realized it, when it really hit me, was when I was at the conservative ball, and then I spent an extended amount of time in DC, and I was able to meet with some people, and I don't want to say who or what or whatever. And they will tell you, hey man, I am familiar with everything that you do. I watch your stuff. We are familiar with it. We send it to each other, whatever, so on and so forth. You out and about all the time. People know who you are. People know exactly who you are. They know. They know. And that's when it really set in, like, wait a minute. We got motion. That's when it really sets in.
Of what happened, and it happened in the black community first,
and now
but
it's
then
trickling
now
out.
You're seeing it happening across the board. Was a lot.
I know you don't like to hear it though. I know that bothers you. But let me tell you something. You cannot do hundreds of millions of views a year. You cannot have over 1 billion views on YouTube alone, and that's not even including other platforms, and not have people know who the hell you are. You're going to have some motion. I know that bothers some people. I know that they never wanted you to have that type of emotion, but it just is what it is. It is what it is.
Of male identity and status was tied up with being a provider, having a job, doing a good job, coming home. And when folks started losing jobs because of deindustrialization and offshoring, and, obviously this isn't a political show, so we're not going to go down all the reasons that it happened, but it happened. And so then you had a bunch of men suddenly feeling lost because their identity had been so wrapped up in that one thing, which was being a provider. And so part of what we have to do is, as men take responsibility for figuring out how to talk about and share feelings and cultivate relationships and friendships. But as a society, we also have to make sure that men don't feel redundant and don't feel as if there's not a place for them. And there are entire communities now where the women are more likely to be employed than the men are. And they have more avenues for supporting their families. And that is something that no matter how much talk you engage in, if guys are feeling left out and not respected, then they're going to act some kind of way, and they're also going to pass that on to their sons. And we're making huge generalizations because in every community there are going to be exceptions.
But before we close this out, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask.
We don't yet know what things are going to be like for Austin and Aaron because they're still on the come up. But I do think this idea of men, there are many different ways of being a good, strong, successful, happy man. I think that's something that young people are more open to and recognize. And so that's promising. And we see it, when we talk to Malia and Sasha and their friends. I think that what we need to do in order to take advantage of that is to, as a society, as communities, recognize that this kind of transition from the old models that you and I, Craig, grew up on. Just like you said, you took a lot of good stuff from your dad, but then there were some modifications that just had to be made either because of blind spots, limits, lack of resource, what have you.
The times.
We joke that talking to Malia and Sasha, sometimes they go out with their friends and, they're in a group and the guy's got crocodile arms, It's like...
Not picking up the check.
Not picking up the check. And it's like, okay.
I'm going to play it again.
And, they're in a group and the guy's got crocodile arms, It's like...
Not picking up the check.
Not picking up the check. And it's like, okay, you don't have to pick it up all the time. But if you're never picking it up,
right,
that's a problem.
Says something about you.
If you're never opening a door or pulling out a chair, because that's just common courtesy. That's just being kind, right?
Kindness.
So for those of you who do not have sons, so Emma, we are rooting for you because those of us with daughters,
we need good men.
We've got to have good guys out there, not necessarily to get married, but to make sure that what we're learning, I think, is that when we don't think about boys and just assume they're going to be okay because they've been running the world and they've got all the advantages relative to the girls, and all of which has historically been true in all kinds of ways. But precisely because of that, if you're not thinking about what's happening to boys and how are they being raised, then that can actually hurt women. And I would argue that some of the broad political trends we've seen, not just in this country, but around the world, have to do with this sense of, boys, men not feeling as if they are seen, feeling as if they count. Mm-hmm. And that then makes them more interested in appeals by folks who say, you know what, the reason you don't feel respected is because women have been doing this, or this group.
No, go ahead and say what my slogan is, Obama. I know you watch, big dog. Listen, daycare owners. I'm not going to curse. I'm just going to say the words. You know what he wanted to say?
The reason you don't feel by folks who say, you know what, the reason.
Nope. What you was going to say was F your feelings. Say it, oh. Say it, oh. Then you turn to people online that come and say, you know what? He caught himself. You know what he really wanted to say. You know what he would have said behind closed doors. Then you start listening to people that say, F your feelings. Say it, oh. Say my slogan. Say my slogan. Say my slogan, dog. That's what you wanted to say. I know you wanted to say it.
And that then makes them more interested in appeals by folks who say, you know what, the reason you don't feel respected is because women have been doing this, or this group has been doing this, or that group's been doing this, and that is not that's not a healthy place to be. And
I believe that the Obamas had a F around and find out moment during this past election also. I believe they had a mess around and find out moment during this last election. When we started to revolt and we said, I can't believe that you're going to sit here and tell us that the reason that we not voting for Kamala Harris is because we misogynistic against women. And then Michelle Obama turned around and said, guys, because let's remember, I don't know if y'all remember, but I made a lot of Fox News appearances and I spoke specifically about Obama. And not only did I speak about Obama, I spoke about Michelle and I addressed those specific issues and it went viral. It went viral. It went viral. It went viral on every single platform, including X, formerly known as Twitter, TikTok, and all of that. And so I addressed it. And they said, Anton, what do you think on behalf of black men about what Obama said and what Michelle Obama is saying? And I said that it's unfortunate that we are listening to these people telling each other to go against the menace in their households, and they're telling them that they need to vote a certain type of way. And then after that broadcast, another 100,000 subscribers came on the YouTube. So you can't tell me, listen, when the opportunity presented itself, I was there for the pickings and I held back zero. I maybe didn't cuss, but I held back nothing in expressing the importance of them missing the men in the black community and why men are starting to turn back to masculinity because they no longer were subjecting themselves to being told what to do when it came to this election or anything for that matter. Anything. And it went haywire. And all of the political pundits and all of the people was reaching out to me and all of that other type of stuff. And yes, and I was going to make the most of it. And I spoke very fervently of it. Very fervently. 100%. So, I know that they paying attention. I know that they see it. It's hard to ignore it because you can't control the internet. You can't control it. You can't control it. You can't tell people what they can and can't do. And I'm glad that they now finally starting to have these conversations because the Democrat Party has been asleep at the wheel for a long time. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats. Slimmy says, Anton Obama for the win. Y'all act like y'all ain't never heard me imitate Obama. Which one's correct? Stop. Jay Ben says, men, my birthday wish today. Happy birthday, Jay Ben says, my birthday wish today is to stop sitting Need a knee like your mama in her pencil skirt. Men cross legs, ankle over knee. Let your damn nuts breathe. Michelle is so beautiful and intelligent, says Ra. Shout out to Ra. Courtney Smith says, I agree. The second Bush administration hurt the trucking industry. 50% Simp says, I got a super sticker for you. Thank you, 50%. I appreciate you. Supreme by Nature TV says, DAD, you got something. You got something? Flow is nice. Oh, that's my freestyle flow. Royce, shout out to Royce. We appreciate you. I just missed one. Hold on. Let me make sure that I go back to that one. It's Royce. Second Bush administration. Yeah. I got it. All right. We in there. Shout out to Royce. I appreciate you. Eric Harris in the building. Eric Harris says, are you 8-phobic? Turtle Island says, I remember 2008, I was 10 and my parents cut back on my allowance and my dad told me to go cut some grass. Bro, 2008 was so rough. 414 says, Bush was by far the worst and we were just happy to celebrate our president was black. Listen, I didn't care nothing about his, I'm going to tell you the truth. I didn't care nothing about the fact that he was black. I just needed something different than what was happening during the Bush administration. That was the last and only I ever saw my pops vote before he died. Aw. Cartier 82 says, what song did the coworker have on repeat? When you was at Home Depot, my girl got a girlfriend. Got a girlfriend. He was bumping that Young Dro. See, this how you know I ain't lying, because you know I'm able to repeat it right off the back. I must have told y'all that story before. My girl got a girlfriend. Girlfriend. Every single night. The first thing that he played as soon as he got in there was, because most of the time they was over there bumping it in Lumber. And Lumber was right next to plumbing. My girl got a girlfriend. Girlfriend. Boom, boom, my girl got a girlfriend. That Young Dro and T.I. He played that too. He played Shoulder Lean. He played all of that. Every single night. Every single night he played My Girl Got a Girlfriend. I said, I know Young Dro's whole album by her. Roy says she realized she's nothing without him and he's better without her. They're not getting divorced. 392Q says young men seek out other sources of masculinity because of homes don't promote being in shape, getting money, and how to move around women. Biology will set in and take action. Back chasers, we up with Captain AD. I'm on it, Melvin. I'm on it, big dog. 392Q says Obama trying to be politically correct is hurting him. He want to say what's on his chest. I don't think anybody can hurt Obama. Obama is going to get money. He going to make a bunch of money. There's nothing else for him to do. What TLC said, don't go chasing waterfalls, says Matthew. Bathhouse Berry, and I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it, Mr. Joe. I'm not doing it. Christian Hutchinson said, Obama tried to address issues with men. With my brother's keeper, progressives, liberals shut down anything for 30 years to assist male development. Agreed 100%. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I want to talk about this last part. This is something that's trending, and so we're going to add this in here. Have y'all ever heard of the Gen Z stare? I didn't realize it was a thing until I actually seen it. Now, my daughter in particular, if she ever hit me with a Gen Z stare, I slap the taste out of your mouth. You start looking at me, I tell you to do something that you're supposed to do, and you just look at me like you ain't got no sense. Mess around and find out if you want to. Mess around and find out if you want to. But there is a thing called, let me see this. There is a thing apparently called the Gen Z stare. All right. Let's get into it. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. This is what's happening.
It's the phenomenon rattling millennials.
I just had my first experience with the Gen Z stare.
And putting Gen Z on the defensive.
Most of the time, it's us trying to figure out if you're being for real or not.
A blank expression dubbed the Gen Z stare at the center of the latest generational beef on TikTok.
They just look at you like they just saw a ghost.
So what exactly is it? According to millennial TikTokers, it plays out like this.
Here's my impression. Hey, how are you?
Gen Zers parodied in these online skits.
Are you still using this rack?
In customer service settings.
How is everyone tonight?
And in the workplace.
Can you just show me how to use a printer?
The trope even playing out in shows like The White Lotus.
Hi.
We have the Gen Z stare because most of y'all are just clueless.
TikToker Jet Demetrius Latham, one of many Gen Z content creators, weighing in on the trend.
As a member of Gen Z, could you just start off explaining what the stare is?
Yeah, so the Gen Z stare is kind of like a deadpan, like blank kind of stare that we give to often like customers when they're asking very like awkward or obvious questions.
With every new video of the Gen Z stare comes a new theory as to why it's happening.
The Gen Z stare is about refusing to perform anything for somebody else.
But a lot of older generations talk too much, too rudely, and too proudly while being too stupid.
All I see is you guys bullying teenagers who are growing up in a much more difficult world.
I know what bullying looks like. It don't look like this. If y'all think that, I remember when cyberbullying was a thing. Remember when they used to say cyberbullying was a thing? What this basically tells me is that y'all are stupid and you don't know how to be social. You have an inability of communicating effectively. That's all that is. And when I see people that talk like this or do they little, because you know what it really is? Y'all want me to be frank? Let's just go ahead and get it. The Gen Z stare is, it's a form of rolling your eyes like a little bitch. I'm sorry. Shout out to the daycares. It's a form of rolling your eyes, like a sucker. That's all it is. It's just you rolling your eyes. It's you being sassy. It's you being, you don't know how to talk. Like, cause talking is just normal. Some people bother me all the time. I go to the gas station. I run into, the neighborhood crackhead or whatever that's at the gas station. Yo, you gonna get me when you come out, Yeah, man, I got you, big dog. Just hold on, man. You know I ain't got no cash. Let me go and kick it in here for a second. Hold on, because I'm gonna be honest with you. It don't matter whether you're the crackhead or whether you're the CEO of a company and people trying to network with you. People just want to be acknowledged. That's really all it comes down to. People want to feel like, and we really have to understand the human aspect of things. People want to be acknowledged. If you are the guy that is panhandling on the street, and I see you every other day that I come by, and I see you shaking and doing your dance, I see you, Get it now. All right. Yeah. Look, man, I got you, bro. Even when they bothering you, like, I'm gonna get you. I ain't got no teeth. Man, stop acting out, man. Why you bothering that lady at that gas station, bro? I got you, man. I got you. Most people just want to be seen the same way that you are being gay in your relationship, and you keep telling your girl that she hasn't acknowledged your contributions into the relationship for a long time, is the same way that the neighborhood crackhead, that older people, they want to be acknowledged. They want to be, it doesn't cost you anything to be nice or to give a compliment or to tell her, hey, your dress is pretty today. So what? She a big back. She know her back is big. She knew her back was big when she came out the house. She tried to cover it up, but her dress is pretty. She's wearing the proper dress for her figure and her shape. Oh, I like you so pretty today. What's going on with you? You must got a man over there. I know. It's some guy. Who is it? Is it the neighbor? Kick it with people. They will make sure that you're taken care of. Show them some love. You know what I'm saying? If you pulling up and the valet guy and you, hey man, dog, you really took care of my car your last time, bro. I appreciate you, man. Thank you, bro. You ain't even got to give no extra tip. I choose to because that's just, the position that I'm in and I like to thank people. But people want to be acknowledged. They don't want to be invisible. That's all it is. That's all it is. This is not rocket science. This is not something that we got to try to figure out the same way that you don't feel like you're being seen in your relationship. You see your girl, she wearing stuff a little tighter now because she been in a dress. Hey, baby, I see you. You been working out? Come here for a minute. Come here for a minute. Let me see you. That's all she wants. She gonna act like she don't want to know. Boy, you crazy. I'm not coming over there. I'm not coming over there. She coming. And she wants you to come. Don't be so literal next time. A lot of you Gen Zers, you take everything literal every time. She said she didn't want to come over here, so I just left her alone. No, that's not what she was saying. She was really saying, oh, I want you to grab my hand and pull me closer. No means yes. Yes means no. Boy, I ain't coming over there. Come here, girl. Come here. Pull her pants down. She really wants you to pull her over there. She wants you to say, let me feel you. Dog, I know you ain't trying to show off out here in these streets. Is this the way you going outside every day? I don't like that shit. I don't like that stuff. I don't like that. She wants you to be a little jealous over her. That's it. That's all it is. Y'all hitting people with the Gen Z stare looking like a base head. You just dumb. You antisocial. And you're going to be broke when you get older because you don't know how to be social. That's it, bro. That's it. You doing too much. You doing too much.
Than you did.
I don't really feel like it's a lack of social skills. I just think we just don't care.
So, are they buffering, protecting their peace, or genuinely anxious about interacting?
I mean, there is an interesting question about how
See,
the
look,
pandemic.
I could tell. Another base head right here. They never have a profile picture. CW Modernizer says, you can't play those no means yes, yes means no, or you will end up with the R charge or harassment. Okay, big dog. I tell you what, you do you. I'm going to play it the way that I'm going to play it. And when she say, no, we going to see how that play out for her. Just tell me you don't know how to read the room. Your wife that you married says, boy, I ain't coming over there. Oh, no, I can't say anything to her because if I say anything, it's going to result in a rape charge. Like, how are y'all able to just be regular, or are you all aliens? Are you all aliens, or do you not know how to just find a middle road, middle ground somewhere in there? It's a middle ground in this conversation. This is not hard to figure out. Do we got to go back to basics and start teaching basic class communication 101, how to be social? You know what I'm saying? Like this is not hard. She said no. All women said don't approach them, so I'm never going out to a woman again. And I'm going to walk in like, yeah, I feel you, big dog. What's going on, ladies? How y'all doing? Hey, AD, Anton from, that's what they call me when they see me. What's going on? Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I know they love me. And you over there, he's going to get a charge if he moves any closer to her. You just a basehead, ain't you? Hey, man, let him stay in the corner. We going to go ahead and have a good time, ladies. I know he been watching too many podcasts. He don't know how to read in between the lines of these reaction videos. So we going to let him stand over there in the corner and let's have a good time. Y'all ready? We going to have a good time. We gonna have a good time, and everybody gonna go home. Everybody gonna be safe. Nobody gonna be upset. Ain't nobody gonna be broke. Ain't nobody gonna get cussed out and have no water thrown on them and get no charges. We just gonna have a good time. That's it. That's it.
Might have
Anton is gonna have you doing 15 to 20. This is Mike. Mike says, AD gonna have you doing 15 to 20. I love y'all. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Don't listen to him. If she says no, you gotta cut it off right away. Don't walk over. Don't even approach closer. She's gonna videotape you and you're gonna go to jail for 15 to 20.
influence social interactions, but I had another idea.
I'm never gonna listen to a dude that's taking pictures in the mirror like this with his robe on. I'm gonna throw the light on. But usually the guys that's really sassy, they put the camera over their face like the ladies do. And they used to do the boomerang. Balance, young gentlemen, balance.
Maybe somebody popular started this stare, and then other kids in the same age range got it into their feed, and it became a trend due to algorithms.
Do we just generally see shifts in the way people communicate? Is that like a normal thing that happens among these generations?
Absolutely, because generational interactions are based on the time that we're born into. The challenge here is that when you have this dead stare, it comes off as rude and it creates a social awkwardness.
Whether it's a blank gaze or a digital daze, that stare might be here to stay.
Steve, you let me know how y'all force yourself. Let me know how that work out for you when you force yourself on women. That's what he's saying. Like, here you go. Hold on, let me find it again. Give me a second. Y'all let me know how that work out for y'all when y'all force yourself on women and then they go and throw themselves on you in 2025. You let me know how that work out for you. Okay, ladies. All right. You let me know how that work out for you. Do you know how you want to be touched? Is it okay if I touch you on your inner thigh, even though you've taken your panties off and you're laying right there in front of me? Wifey, wife, is it okay if I touch you in your inner thigh today? It's a different group of people out here, y'all. It's a different group of people out here today, ladies and gentlemen. Different group of people. All right. I'm just here. I'm just reporting on the news and what's trending in popular culture. Kristen Coleman says, you did good today. I'm also a bag chaser. Love the show. See that, Kristen? See how I make adjustments for my ladies and for my chasers? See that? I got you, Kristen. That's why I'm making changes. I'm adjusting. I'm going to be safe for give me 3 days. I'm going to be safe for daycares. Eric Harris says, if she says stop, that means no. But if she says, boy, stop, you get it? Okay, so we there now. Now we there. Unc looking like Unc 607. I can't wait to give me an Unc bot. An Unc bot, an older OG robot. I think we're seeing the effects of growing up on the internet, social media, social engineering, and ruining social skills. Yeah, but it was a great time to be alive, being raised in the 90s, I tell you. Just for being the best morning show. Shout out to the Bag Chasers. Thank you, my friend, for contributing into the platform. Thank you to everybody that shows us love out here in these streets. Tech via Tony says, I remember those stupid stares when I supervised some of these young folks. I would have some words for them. I don't got nothing for them. I just keep on walking. Keep on walking. Anyways, let's see. Up here goes Spaces. Spaces says Anton is saying apply what you're saying to Ben McLemore. Yeah, getting drunk and let me be quiet. I can't. I don't know if y'all just be trolling. I don't know if y'all know how to be socially awkward if you don't understand. Like, do y'all? Don't worry about it, y'all. Don't worry about it. Y'all got it. Y'all are 100% correct. I was wrong. I apologize. And you are right. No means no. Yes means yes. All right. You are absolutely right. No means no. And yes means yes. All right. I agree. Y'all win today. All right. Nah, he right, AD. I agree. All of y'all are right. Gunplay and chill. You are correct. You guys are correct. You are right. I'm a dinosaur. You are right. Don't matter if they get blackout drunk. If you don't know her, you just met her. Somehow her hand just ended up inside of your pants in the middle of the night on the couch. Yeah, you know what? That's exactly like the circumstance that I just described with you and your wife being playful inside of y'all living room at the kitchen island. It's 1 for 1. It's the exact. Apply the same thing that you do with your wife in the living room, noticing her shape and her figure, and she's saying, "Oh boy, stop." Yeah, that's the same thing as getting drunk with a 4, piss out drunk, dragging her from the bathroom, wake up with her hands on your nuts, and then you trying to figure out whether or not it's the same thing. Same thing. 1 for 1. You guys are so awesome. You are right. I agree. Make sure that you guys apply the same logic across the board, and I guarantee you're going to be fine. You're right. Absolutely. Same thing. We need an 8 Anton, Aiden, and Charleston live stream. We'll see. You missed my super chat earlier. I'm sorry, James. I'm sorry. That's the one that I was looking for. Let me see if I can find it. Because I don't want to... Okay, this was it. This is it right here. James Roberts says, you're wrong, AD. The worst president was Clinton. He did NAFTA and killed our manufacturing, will set up the entire debt crisis. I agree. Clinton was bad too. I don't disagree with you whatsoever. I don't disagree with you at all. All right. Anyways, so, yep. Y'all go ahead and play it how y'all feel best. And I'm going to take my chances doing what I do. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to see y'all on After Hours tonight. Peace.